our defensive positions later in the broadcast, Brantford's really trying something new today. And I think a little bit of leeway is given there as we pull up your starting pitchers for today's game. The starting pitching matchup today, I haven't been able to say it too many times at home this season, Brian, but I think the stats say Brantford is probably the team with the favored pitcher, Aiden Armitage, and now an all-star reserve here for the 2025 season. So Aiden Armitage is going to get the call today at the starting pitcher position. He came into the season as a relief guy, potential long relief upside, and he's boomed into one of the best, if not the best, starting pitchers on this team. You see up here now, Aiden Armitage, 3.17 ERA. Decent sample size there, 22 and a 2/3 innings pitched there, 17.8 strikeout to walk ratio. That's best on the team. And on the other side, Carwin Salcedo Reyes, 4.90 ERA for the Hamilton Cardinals. Only 7 innings pitched on the year, 9 strikeouts to 7 walks. Small sample size, although I will say, Brian, I believe you were here when Wilhelmes Alvarado came in for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Something up around 7 was his ERA, and he lit us up all day. Yep. He was incredible. So you can't always take a guy at face value, but Aiden Armitage, all-star reserve, he's going to be a factor for us to maybe give the bullpen a little bit more wiggle room later in the game than they're usually used to seeing.
Well, having seen Armitage a couple of times, he's not overpowering stuff. He doesn't have a lot of strikeouts for 22 innings. 17 is not a huge number, but he pitches to contact, and he reminds me a little bit. Now, you got to be careful comparing a guy to Roy Halladay, the late Roy Halladay, but he had a similar theory on pitching. He wasn't worried about how many strikeouts. He wanted to keep his pitch count down and get deep into games. And that's one thing that Armitage does as a rule. He avoids the 3-ball counts. He pitches to contact, gets soft contact whenever he goes, and trusts his defense to make the plays behind him. And I think that's going to be a big advantage because the Red Sox bullpen, I think, nicest thing to say about that is not exactly a strength at this point. And so they've got some good arms down there, but they really have trouble making the bridge from mid to latter innings to the late game. You know, they've got a couple of real good arms for the back end, but they really have trouble bridging the 5th to the 7th. So a guy like Armitage who can pitch to contact, get deeper in the game, is going to be exponentially improving their chances to win by getting to the 7th or the 8th inning so they can get to those big arms down at the end of the bullpen.
Well, we'll see if we see that all-star reserve level value here in the early stages today. We'll see if Brantford can get off to a good start at home on what is a very hot Sunday of baseball. It was on Friday. At least the sun came down in that game. Today, the interesting thing is going to be the field condition. And I know you and I, Brian, you came here the other day with a different team. You talk about the field condition and how those weird hops at the second base shortstop area of the infield can really play, against the hands of an infield defense. Well, today, pre-game, we had that rain overnight that's really been all around this part of Ontario. And pre-game, this game was in talks of potentially being canceled. It does play through. That's the reason we don't have Rogers TV here today, as anticipated, was just the field condition. It looked like the game wouldn't happen. In the end, those powers that be at Brantford made sure this game will go ahead against the Cardinals. But keep an eye on those field conditions today and the heat. It always plays against pitchers, hitters as well. And as we get ready for the anthem here at Arnold Anderson Stadium, there's going to be a lot of factors to watch in a game that 3 games back of the Kitchener Panthers is as big as ever for the Brantford Red Sox.
Yeah, Thursday night I was here with my 22U team, and the infield was rock hard. Everything that bounced was bouncing. The infield was running really fast. Everything that was beat into the dirt around the plate went 20 feet in the air. And, of course, that dangerous area around second base. So with a softer infield, we expect more true hops, but tougher to run as well. All right, and another rousing rendition of the national anthem here before the Red Sox game. My man Marshall has been called away for a technical situation, so it'll just be me for the next couple of minutes. So we want to welcome every one of you to the game today. It should be a very exciting game. Again, Aiden Armitage is starting for Brantford, and we look for him to throw a lot of strikes, keep the ball, the 3-ball counts to a minimum, and really go at this Hamilton lineup. And we'll go over the lineup a little bit here for Hamilton. It leads off with Tommy Reyes-Cruz at second base, and then Brandon Nickel playing shortstop. Tyler Duncan at center field. Carlos Dominguez playing in right field. Josh Williams is the DH today. Nick Kokatos is the left fielder. Again, a guy who's in the top 10 in batting average. Tanner Rumpel at first base. The catcher is Jomar Hernandez. And at third base, instead of Jonathan Salazzo today, is Jaden Brown. I watched him warm up. He's got a really strong arm, has good range out at third base. Be interesting to see him play. Hamilton is on the game 4 of a 4-in-4 situation Thursday night. Obviously the no-hitter from Owen Boone, and then home games against Chatham Friday and Saturday, where they won 2-0, and won easily 12-1 last night. And so today against Brantford, they're going to have a real challenge facing Armitage here, who's going to pitch to them. And there's my man Marshall back, and we seem to have things all worked out, do we?
We certainly hope so. Should be good to go here. I'm sure the heat probably playing an effect on some of our tech, but we should be back to good and ready to go with all of your overlays for today's game. We've got the white jerseys out today for your Brantford Red Sox. We've got those nice kind of off blue, powder blue type Cardinals jerseys, one of the better ones in all the IBL. Although I feel like every game we call a game, Brian, that the road team that comes in is wearing some great merch. And you can always pick up your Brantford Red Sox stuff here live at Arnold Anderson Stadium at our awesome merch booth table. Remember, reverse tariff season here at the Brantford Red Sox for all of our home efforts this season. And we were talking about with Mark Perre on Friday, Brian, just how crucial these home efforts are going to be. We have a lot of home games on the docket the rest of the year because we haven't played many to this point in the season. And the fan engagement and getting fans hyped up at these games, encouraging their team to make that playoff push is always crucial. And you're a guy that's been around baseball for a long time. You know the value of fan impact on the players.
100%. I could tell you that when we were in the playoffs 2 years ago in Kitchener, and 15, 18, 1,900 people are rolling in there, and what an atmosphere it was, especially when we got to Game 5. My own son was in the stands and had never been to an IBL game before, and we hit a 3-run home run in the 6th inning to take a 5-3 lead, and he said he had never been anywhere outside of the dome watching baseball that had such an atmosphere when it gets packed like that. And you can think of diamond after diamond after diamond. You know, Labatt Park in London, Christie Pitts, Hastings up in Guelph. Those places, when they get packed, they are absolutely rocking. Chatham, I haven't been there yet, but I've watched a few games on the stream. So it means everything to have the place full and have the fans engaged in, every pitch, every hit, every defensive play.
Well, the fans are out here in droves despite the hot weather. Leading off today is Carwin Salcedo Reyes is going to be the pitcher for the Hamilton Cardinals. But on our side, it's Aiden Armitage getting us kicked off here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. First batter of the day, he's facing Tommy Reyes-Cruz. You talked about earlier, one of the better leadoff men in the game. Only .230 this season. But interesting note to watch there as you see this outfield cam. Backstop today, starting backstop for the Red Sox, Lucas Bateman. First one of the day goes down the line. Fair ball for a single in the very first pitch of the day for Armitage. Tommy Reyes-Cruz, stand-up single to open up the day for the Cardinals.
Yeah, he has. He's not a big guy, but he has a shocking amount of pop in his bat. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. And, of course, this guy coming up here, a former Welland player, is a really good hitter as well and a dangerous number 2 hole hitter.
Yeah, here's Brandon Nickel coming up here for the Hamilton Cardinals. Hitting .292 on the season. 13 RBIs, 5 home runs. He's got a little bit of pop in that bat. 17 strikeouts this season to only 8 walks. But Armitage first pitch of the day for a single. We'll see what he does for number 2. Right down the zone. Strike 1 of the day for Aiden Armitage. So now on first, leading off, Reyes-Cruz. He's got Matt Torres in there for company. He's getting the start today at first base. We'll show you the full defense in just a moment. Oh, throws over top of Brandon Nickel there for ball one. If he had just stood in and taken that one, that would have been a free walk to first base there, Brian.
Well, that's when you usually get barked at from your own dugout, telling you to wear it. But, when you've got something coming at you at 80 miles an hour, your first instinct obviously is to duck.
Here's the 1-1. Armitage, good speed on that. A little bit off speed at the end, fooled him, and now Nickel down 1-2 here.
3 straight off-speed pitches to start this at bat with Nickel. He's got him set up here for a high fastball. He is pretty quick to the plate, not easy to run on. Reyes Cruz is a threat to run, but one thing I've liked about Armitage is that he is quick to the plate.
Reyes Cruz takes another step off first base. Swing and a miss for Brandon Nickel. First K on the day for Aiden Armitage.
And true to form, he comes up on pitch 4 with the hard fastball outside and a little bit up, and Nickel was unable to get a bat on it. Here's a guy that you have to be real worried about. Again, a former MVP in this league, Tyler Duncan. He can hit the ball out of any ballpark in this league. He's got, I think, 6 this year, and he just hits the ball really hard. So I don't expect Reyes to run here for 2 reasons. First of all, you get a dangerous hitter like this. Secondly, you keep the right side of the diamond more open for a hit to go through.
First pitch and first hit for the game for Tyler Duncan, right over the head of the second baseman. That's Lucas Lefebvre out there at second base today, but that's Tyler Duncan there with the single right down the gap, and Palos will field it to keep the runners at 1-2.
Yeah, first pitch fastball there, a little too high in the zone, and he knew exactly what to do with it. He hit the ball where it was pitched, up and out over the plate, and hit it right back up the middle.
Let's see if we can get our defensive formation up here in just a few moments. We just had to make a couple last-minute changes with the lineup. And we'll see it now. We'll get the wrong logo up there in the corner, but this is actually the Brantford Red Sox defense there, pardon the Hamilton Cardinals. Outfield today, Takioka Palos Black, and then Torzen, Lefebvre, Ortega, and Watt, your infield defense. And I already said it there, Brian, but Lucas Bateman getting the start at back catch today defensively. Rare you see that for the Red Sox, and interesting there, moving Cassidy Watt to third. Curious what the managers for the Red Sox are thinking there.
Well, we know Cassidy Watt can't play third. He played third when Savage was playing. He caught the ball. He caught one game here against Kitchener a few games ago. 2 starting off sliders for Dominguez, 0-2 now. And the other guy I want to keep my eye on is Black out in right field. Brady Black, very good defensive outfielder. He made that fantastic catch against Toronto up against the wall a couple of weeks ago.
So Dominguez down 0-2. 2 swings and misses thus far from Armitage. Oh, throws over top of him again. That ball goes wild, and the runners will advance. Armitage has had the power. He's had the off-speed, but that fastball right now, Brian, seems like whenever he tries to place it on the batter's side, gets too close, and he could have hit 2 guys by now.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the plate quick, which is very admirable and something you want to do. Having said that, when you get a little bit too quick, the arm falls a little bit behind the body and leaves yourself open, and generally you'll miss arm side, which is exactly what he did there.
The first hit by pitch chance was off speed. That one he probably should have taken. That one had some juice on it, so Carlos Dominguez makes a business decision there. 1-2. Off speed, that one barreled up a little bit, popped up in the air. No advance from the infielders. That one comes down. Takioka can't get the glove on it. And the runner at third, Tommy Reyes Cruz, comes in to score.
Yeah, you can see that one was trouble. The wind was trying to blow it back in a little bit. I think the wind's blowing a little bit from our left to the right, from third base to first base, and it was hanging that ball up a little bit, so it was just in that dead zone in between the outfielder and the infielder. The shortstop was busting it back to try and get there, and of course Takioka, who runs really well, couldn't get in on time because the ball was being held up by the wind. So an unfortunate break there for Armitage. Goes down as a hit, but really he made a good pitch, got soft contact, just couldn't make the play on it.
Runners now in first and second. It's the big man with the big bat, Josh Williams.
the boys are aware that he is around the plate. And they're not standing, looking, and waiting. They got to be aggressive and attack the ball, and let's see what happens.
Spencer Marcus has traditionally been the leadoff batter for the Barnstormers, and the last few games been down in the lineup, and he's going to swing at the first pitch. Popped it up behind the plate. Mullen tracks it towards the on-deck circle. He's there. 1 pitch, 1 out, and a foul out to the catcher.
Well, so much for advice. He was aggressive.
We're just the experts behind the plate here. Right?
Our apologies for anybody tuning in to try to catch the Brantford Hamilton game. They're having some technical difficulties. It's very hot on the field, and our guess is the CPU is overheated down there, so they're probably trying to cool it off down there and let them get back on the air whenever they can. So in the meantime, we'll show you guys the Welland Jackfish and CK Barnstormers game.
Talked to Spencer prior to the game. If you were watching last night, there was a pop fly, and it was an adventure for him. I said, what was the wind like last night? And he said, it does some weird things coming off that field house there. Wind was blowing in here. It was blowing out there. It was, very odd.
He stood under it for, it seemed like 2 or 3 seconds, and then all of a sudden he started chasing the ball into the infield. It bounced off the heel of his glove at about foot high, and he was almost at second base by the time he caught up to the ball.
Yeah, I made it a bit of an adventure last night. It was a tough night for the Barnstormers in a 12-1 loss. Inside Ortega pushes him off the plate, 2-1. Thanks for joining us here on Barnstormers TV on the YouTube channel at ckbarnstormers.ca. You can get the link there. And, of course, jump in the chat, too. If you got anything going on or any comments, keep an eye on that as the night goes on. Marin stings one down the left side. That's foul. Count even at 2-2. You wouldn't believe how many locals that have some Welland connections that were making plans to come out today. Talked to a couple different families that said, well, we're from the area. We're going to make sure we come out and cheer for our hometown team.
It's good. Good. If you haven't been out yet, please give it a try. You'll like the brand of baseball they play, and the atmosphere here is great.
Moran rolls one over to the second baseman, Weisner, hustles it out, but not going to be in time. And a ground out to second for Moran, 2 outs in the inning. Yushin Oda in the 3-hole today with Seth Strong on deck. Barnstormers used their entire roster last night. Oda played the entire game as a catcher. He's going up there hacking as well, and that goes off the overhang behind home plate. A little bend to that. Oda fouls that one back in behind to the barbecue area once again, and Ortega deals quickly, and he's ahead in the count, 0-2.
As you said, he's around the plate. Throw strikes.
And he'll catch him swinging. 3 up, 3 down, and we're through 1, scoreless. Top of 2 coming up. Barnstormers and the Welland Jackfish on Barnstormers TV, presented by Kent Essex Mutual Insurance, Ontario's trusted insurance provider.
Still selling critical illness insurance. Still selling retirement savings plans. Still selling group benefit plans. Still selling life insurance. Still selling disability insurance.
Are you selling insurance?
Not today. Play ball.
Hey Barnstormer fans, want to win a $50 gas card just for cheering on your favorite team? Grab your phone right now and snap a selfie of you and your family and friends watching Barnstormers TV. Follow and tag at CK Barnstormers and Kent Essex Mutual Insurance at KE Mutual on Instagram. You need both tags and follows to qualify for the selfie contest. At CK Barnstormers and at KE Mutual. Share your selfie before the end of the game for a chance to
little bit better. They send the runner, they bring the shortstop over to second base. You can slap something through the infield.
That ball chopped up to second base, takes a weird bounce there off the grass, but he'll get it there in time. Takioka grounds out to open up the inning, and a nice little textbook play by Reyes Cruz.
Good off-speed pitch there to get Takioka out on his front foot and rolled over a ground ball to second base.
Number 13, Ethan Palos.
So here's Ethan Palos up here, former leadoff man for the Red Sox, playing center field there today. And don't forget the last chance ballot for the 2025 All-Star Game happening there in Hamilton next weekend. He is on the ballot. Go check the Red Sox social media or the IBL social media to learn how to vote for your man, Ethan Palos, to be our 5th representative in the 2025 All-Star Game. First pitch in there for a ball.
Well, he's had a great season. He's cooled off a little bit, hitting down to about 310 right now he's hitting, but he's still a really good contact hitter and can hit the ball to all fields, hit it on a rope. He's got a little bit of pop in his bat, too.
The 1-1 a little bit high. 2-1 now the count here to Ethan Palos. At the end of this batter, we'll show you the defensive formation and your starting lineup here with our sweet new graphic here for the Brantford Red Sox. And again, the important thing today, not so much who's hitting, but where they are defensively. That's the interesting note, as that ball chopped easily to first base. He'll field that cleanly, and he'll step on the bag. That is Rempel there, Tanner Rempel there, to record the second out of the inning.
Well, another good execution pitch there where he threw the ball inside and it ran into Paulus's hands, and he was unable to get any power. It just got it right in off the skinny part of the bat. Easy ground out, 3 alone. And so this is interesting to me to see Cassidy Watt, who I really like as a hitter and has a lot of power, to see him in the 3-hole like this ahead of Ortega. Maybe they think that with Ortega on deck, Watt will see more fastballs.
First pitch to Cassidy Watt there, high and wide for ball 1. And talk about a guy that can barrel a baseball. Cassidy Watt to this point on the season, average isn't where you would expect for a guy hitting in the 3 spot, 235, but 16 RBIs this year. That one popped up and over our heads. This will be 1-1, but 16 RBIs, now third in the on the team, as Brody Black has just recently passed him with that, I believe, for that game winner the other day in Hamilton, put him at 17. So talk about a guy that not many hits here, Brian. 23 hits, 16 RBIs. That tells you a guy just clobbers the baseball when he finds it.
Well, the other thing, too, is that last time I was here calling a game, he was hitting 190, and he's up to 235. So he's a hot hitter, and a good manager is always going to be keeping an eye on guys that are hitting the ball or going through what I like to call green light sections, where they just get some momentum going, and those are the guys you want to move them up in the order and get them extra ABs.
The 2-1 completely misses the catcher, misses the zone. 3-1 now the count. And Cassidy Watt, a guy now playing third base today, usually the back catch. He's an athletic guy, and you got to wonder if that extra little bit taken off the knees, taken off for playing catcher. Bateman's taking that load today. I wonder if that makes Watt just a little more agile, more effective out there on the base paths.
Well, we shall see for sure. That's 3 different catches we've seen Brantford use now.
3-1. That one does find the zone. Here comes the full count as Carlin Salcedo Reyes picks the bottom side of the zone. 3-2, 2 outs. This could end the inning.
Yeah, nice strike there right at the knees. Good 3-1 pitch.
And Watt's going to take time. He often does. Going to tie his shoe up there, take a quick reset. This could either be Watt's 17th strikeout on the year or his 9th walk. On deck, should he be needed, the star of the first episode of the Brantford Red Sox Report, which goes out live on YouTube and cable tomorrow, Christian Ortega. That one in the dirt, no doubter for a walk. That is the 9th walk of the season for Cassidy Watt. Here comes Ortega, runner in scoring position here for him. He doesn't often see that in the first inning of his work.
Well, whatever the Red Sox management were up to, they're certainly working out in the first inning anyway, with Watt drawing a 7-pitch walk. And, of course, probably the best hitter on the team, Ortega.
Yeah, him or Takioka, depends what you value between thunder and lightning, power and contact. Salcedo Reyes. That one will find the bottom of the zone. Doing a good job to pick that bottom corner so far.
Bit of a sinking motion to that fastball. And it's really catching the bottom of the zone, certainly connecting with the home plate umpire.
Here's the 0-1. Watt on first. That ball close and on the hands. Doesn't go around. That'll be ball 1.
That was a close pitch. Pretty conservative lead down at first by Watt. He kind of leading off like he's still a catcher, that's for sure. He's only about 6 feet off the bag. Now he's stretching it out a little bit. Well, still pretty conservative.
Here's the 1-1. That ball popped over our heads. This will be 1-2 here on the foul ball.
He got a real good swing on that one there. He's disappointed he didn't barrel that one up.
We talked about Watts second on the team in RBIs. Here's the man leading the squad. Ortega's got 26 on the year, and the next man up, Brody Black, second on the team with 17.
But considering the start that Black had, it's really quite an accomplishment.
Big swing and a miss from Ortega. Misses the bat high. That'll finish off the inning. Very quickly, we'll show you the Hamilton Cardinals defense. Give you a sense of what we're going to see later should they be needed a little bit more. Infield, it's going to be Jomar Hernandez catching today for the Hamilton Cardinals. Rempel, Reyes, Cruz, who you've already seen on offense. Nickel and Brown going to be your infield. Your outfield at left field, you got Kakados. Tyler Duncan, the man who had a cycle with 2 home runs yesterday on offense. We'll see what he can do today on defense. And we got Dominguez there in the back corner in right field. And Salcedo Reyes, his first inning of work, has just finished up. Aiden Armitage will take the mound once again.
Well, a good-looking pitcher, Salcedo Reyes, and he has got a nice sinking action to the fastball. There's a bit of run to it as well, almost like a cutter action that he showed earlier in the Paulus at bat. And so throws hard, looks pretty good thus far. I'm not sure how long he's going to throw. I heard rumor it was going to be kind of a bullpen game today, which is understandable. Hamilton doesn't really have a de facto number 4 starter. You know, they've got obviously Owen Boone and Saldina is another one that they've got as well. And so they've all in 4 and 4, you know, they have, Adames and Saldana. And so they're really looking for a number 4 now. It helps you get through the season, 4 starters, but generally, especially when you got a guy like Owen Boone who can throw every 4th day, generally speaking, you can get through a 7-game playoff series at this level in the IBL with 3 good starters. It's just those games where you're connecting, where you might have 5 games in 7 days where you can't get your pitching reset, where you might have to throw a bullpen game. So, you know, if Salcedo Reyes can give them a good 4 or 5 innings here, he could be an option for them in a playoff series.
The guy I'm going to be watching in the bullpen for Hamilton, I see he is on the active roster today. Stephen Hospital there, who is going to be going to the All-Star game for the Cardinals. How about that stat line? 13 innings pitched, 1 run allowed, 18 strikeouts to no walks.
Well, and that is just a drop-dead bullpen they've got down there, because we haven't even talked about former Major Leaguer Fernando Rodney, who has about 120 career saves in his Major League resume. And he's been very busy this season as well.
Tanner Rempel pops that one up over the head of Palos and Black. Palos will settle under it to make the easy catch. First pitch of the inning is Tanner Rempel popping up to center field.
Well, the Brantford outfield defense is certainly a superlative as far as I'm concerned. I consider it a plus outfield all the way around. Takioka, who can really pick him up and lay him down. Palos, who tracks the ball as well as anybody. And, of course, I've already spoken to Black, who can make the circus catch out there as well. So we really love the Brantford outfield defense. Not only that, they can all hit as well. They're 3 of the top 5 in the batting order. So, you know, that's something to build on in future seasons for a Brantford Red Sox team as they try and return to prominence.
Here's the catcher, Jomar Hernandez. First ball in for a strike right down the middle. Tried that slider again, found the zone.
Yeah, Hernandez thought that was up a little bit, but he clearly caught the belt.
Hernandez, this is only his 2nd game, 8 at-bats, small sample size, but already 2 home runs, hitting .375 in those 8 at-bats. A slider this time misses the plate, ball 1. How do you like that? First 8 at-bats in the IBL, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, and a walk.
Yeah, welcome to it.
Here's the 1-1 from Armitage. That one wide and low off the plate, ball 2.
Dropped down a little bit there and just pulled it a bit glove side, outside. So he started off with 2 sliders, went back with the fastball. It would surprise me if he didn't come back with a slider here.
Final man in the lineup, Jaden Brown, waits on deck. Here's the 2-1. That one had a relatively nice location to it, just finds a little bit high. 3-1 now the count.
So I went back with the fastball there. Maybe they think they can overpower him with that fastball after showing him early sliders.
Just can't give him something hittable here on 3-1. 2 home runs and 8 at-bats already. That one off and in the dirt. Jomar Hernandez, 2nd walk and 9 ABs on the season. He'll take the free pass to first base.
Yeah, just spiked that last slider there. I thought that was the right pitch, throwing the slider on 3-1. I've mentioned on previous broadcasts where the new thing is to what we call pitch backwards. For decades and decades and decades, 3-1 count meant almost a guaranteed fastball. But these days, most guys will throw some kind of off-speed pitch that they can throw for a strike on 3-1 because they don't want you sitting dead red looking fastball, because that's when you get a sore neck.
Well, unpredictability is a weapon as a pitcher in baseball, and once you give that away, hitters are just too good to not capitalize when they know what's coming.
That's a great point.
Here's the first pitch to Jaden Brown. He's starting at third base today. Final man in the lineup for the Hamilton Cardinals. Jomar Hernandez now on first base. Just taking a quick word with the third base coach here for the Hamilton Cardinals is Jaden Brown. Here's the 1-0 from Armitage. That one wild pitch. That'll advance Hernandez as he'll head to second. And this is what I was concerned about. I mentioned it in the intro. 3 wild pitches scored runs on Friday night against the Barrie Baycats. Already we've seen 2 here today. And Lucas Bateman, he generally does a good job blocking those balls as the part-time back catch here for the Red Sox. But if you're Armitage and you're Bateman, you really got to get that on lock if you want Armitage to play deep into this game.
I agree. And now I will say this. Bateman had no chance on that one. He just spiked that pitch into the left-handed batter's box. Just seems to be struggling a little bit with his release point here in the second inning.
So Jaden Brown looking at 2-0 here. Hernandez now on second. Big swing and a miss there on a ball that was well low in the dirt. Bateman does a good job of getting in front of that. 2-1.
Yeah, that's one where you have to, I talk to my players so often about having a plan when you're up there. When you're up 2-1 in the count and a ball that never really hit the strike zone and ended up bouncing and you're swinging over top of, that's a difficult one to see when you're a manager. It tells us the batter is just up there hacking.
Armitage got on the board with a strike last time. Gets another here. 2-2 now the count. He's working his way back.
Well, that's the second or third hitter we've seen that thought that a pitch was up, but it looks like the umpire is setting a fairly consistent top end of the zone above the belt.
That's Kyle Warner, home plate umpire today. 2-2, Armitage to Brown. That one well wide off the plate. Bateman didn't set out quite that wide. Looks like Armitage just missed.
Great block there to keep that ball in front of him. Otherwise, it was another one going back to the backstop. Really good lateral motion by Bateman.
Second full count of the day here for Armitage. Jaden Brown looking for his first walk of the day. He's got 9 so far on the young season. That one barreled up a little bit over the head of Lucas Bateman. He'll get that one to come down. Nice location there by the part-time catcher. He'll snag that out. That's 2 for the inning.
Good mechanics showed by Bateman there. It's not an easy play, especially when the wind's blowing. The ball tends to head toward the backstop, and then with the spin on it, tends to head back toward the plate. A lot of catchers pursue that ball, and he just got part way and let the ball spin back to him. He was in full control. Very important to get the number 9 hitter ahead of turning the lineup over to get the second out. Now you're looking for your infield to hit the dirt here and make sure nothing gets through the infield.
Hernandez on second. Tommy Reyes Cruz up for the second time today. He singled earlier, scored a run in the first inning. One of the 2 the Hamilton Cardinals scored in the first. Takes a quick time. He'll reset. First pitch, once again, down in the dirt. Ball 1.
So in his first at bat, Reyes Cruz shot one right over top of the first base bag, first pitch of the game, if memory serves me. So I'm a little surprised that maybe Lefebvre doesn't play a little bit more in the hole. He seems to be pretty straight up.
Here's the 1-0. That one close again on the hands of the batter. A little bit too low as well. That's ball 2.
Yeah, 2-seam fastball. Tried to get it to break back over the plate late, but just threw it a little bit too far inside.
Your umpires today, Kyle Warner. Chris Walters out there on first, and Steve Knight's out there, third base umpire today. Here's the 2-0. That one once again low and close on the hands. He's trying to pick a spot on that corner, just can't find it.
Well, unfortunately, that's 3 straight hitters now that have gone to a 3-ball count in this inning, so it's really building up Armitage's pitch count, which is contrary to what we were talking about pregame.
Here now the 3-0 to Reyes Cruz. That one does finally find the bottom of the zone. 3-1 now.
Interesting, a 3-0 slider.
Well, we talked about you don't want to get too predictable there with that 3-0 pitch. That slider's relatively at good location today. It's been the fastball he's missed inside. Here's the 3-1. Hernandez on second. That one chopped. It's going to go foul off towards the right side. It's now a 7-pitch at bat. You remember that epic at bat, that Cassidy Watt at bat a couple weeks back, Brian?
13 or 14, yeah, absolutely.
14 pitches. We had another one go the other day against Barrie. Batter had a 12 pitch count. We'll see how long this one goes for Reyes Cruz. Armitage well wide off the plate. Ball 4, second walk of the second inning for Aiden Armitage.
Well, he's struggling with that fastball location, and that is really point number one when you're pitching. You have to be able to locate your fastball, because if you can't locate your fastball, then everybody just lays off it and sits on your off-speed stuff. If you're locating your fastball inside, outside, up and down, then you can throw your break and pitch on any count, and it would generally be more effective. And now they've got a real problem here with Nickel up and Duncan on deck. This is a guy you're going to need to get with the former MVP and a left-handed hitter up next.
Big swing and a miss by Nickel. Goes down 0-1. 2 walks on the day for Armitage. Also has 2 strikeouts, and the first one of that first inning was to this guy, Brandon Nickel.
This is one time where you just want to go right at this hitter here. You don't want to mess around with too many pitches in the count. A strike-to-ball slider would probably work real well here.
Here's the 0-1. That one wide off the plate. Another good job to block it by Bateman.
In the last 3 fastballs that Armitages have thrown, and I don't think any of them have been within a foot of the plate.
Talk a lot about keeping pitch count down. That was Armitage's 40th of the day. Only 5 batters retired so far. The 1-1 is chopped off to the left side, off towards third base. 1-2, now the count. We'll take a moment here to show you the offense for the Hamilton Cardinals one more time. We've already seen everybody. We've given you a quick run through, but we'll take that off. That's the old. That's still the Friday lineup for whatever reason. Sometimes that graphic likes to live in the past. The Barrie Baycats, though, did defeat the Red Sox yesterday, 6-5. That game in Barrie. Here's the 1-2. That one well barreled on the 1-2 count. Off towards Takioka, who will try to field it. Misplays it. The run will come around. Jomar Hernandez, the catcher, scores off of the single by Brandon Nickel.
Well, Takioka will be pretty disappointed there. You got the catcher running, trying to score from second on a line shot base hit. And Takioka, I think, probably would have had him dead to rights without too much trouble, but he dropped the ball in transition, and you could just see his body language there, is a demeanor of someone who's a little bit disgusted with themselves. So now you got the problem. You're down 3, 2 outs, but the former MVP is up now. Tyler Duncan can really punish you if you make a mistake here.
Reyes Cruz on second, Nickel on first. Here's Duncan. 3-0 now the lead for the Cardinals. Off speed wide. That's a wild pitch. Bateman will run over to it. Quick slap of the chest, almost to say that's on me. So Armitage will take the walk back. 1-0 here.
Well, that's an interesting focus on the new mechanics of a catcher, where you try and backhand the ball to make it look more appealing to the umpire, but because he didn't turn the glove over, it got away off the heel of his glove and cost them a base. So sometimes you have to sacrifice the pitch to maintain the situation. So now you've got 2 runners in scoring position. The force play is off and makes more pressure for your infield defense here. And not only that, but any base hit between outfielders is going to score both runners, as Nickel is a good base runner.
Well, as Armitage consults his generals here on first base, let's look a little bit at the big picture here for this Brantford Red Sox defense, because this defensive substitution, we were pretty confident that the defense was fixed. When Lucas Lefebvre came in, Schmarter came out, and then we saw the same lineup game over game for a couple weeks. We thought, all right, this is the look. But Tryon Bateman there at catcher today in a game that is relatively big, is at home, is attainable, putting Watt at third, Ortega at shortstop. There must just be some vision. They must just not be happy with what they have yet, trying to make this late push.
Well, it's also 4 games in 4 days, and it's a hot day, and, it's tough to catch a night game after a day game.
That one in for a strike.
They were up in Brantford, so it was a long day yesterday. And I know that's a hot park. I've been up there before, and on a hot day, there's not a whole lot of air movement up there. It can be a very hot park. Even at night, the bugs are pretty bad too. So that's one where if Watt caught last night, he probably wasn't going to catch this afternoon.
Sweet.
Nice pitch there, beautiful. Looked like a changeup to me anyway. Got the pitch down and out of the zone. So now you've got a situation here where you're ahead of the hitter. It's a 1-2 count. You got a couple options here. You had him swinging low. You can either bust him up and in hard, or you can try and maybe backdoor a slider here.
Nichols singled on 2 strikes in the last at bat. Let's see what Duncan does here. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Third strikeout of the day for Aiden Armitage. Leaves 2 on base. Keeps the lead to 3. That'll end the top of the second.
Well, they went right back to the well once more there, and it worked. Got Duncan to swing over top of it. Really nice execution that time by Armitage. That was an expensive inning, though, both costing a run and the fact that he probably used about 25, 27 pitches there. That's got to put him up near 50 through 2 innings. So tough to get real deep in the lineup. And with this heat, anybody who's ever played in this heat, it's hard on everybody, even the fans, tires you right out. But a pitcher and a catcher specifically who are involved in every pitch, it really wears a pitcher down quicker than it normally would. So, at this rate, they'll be lucky to get any more than 5 innings out of him. Once he gets up into 85, 90 pitches, the legs start to go. When the legs start to go, the arm falls behind, and then you start to get up in the zone. And with this Hamilton lineup, that's the last place you want to be, is up in the zone with this group.
Well, in just a moment, we'll show you the starting lineup graphic. In just a sec, we'll double check it because a couple of our graphics today, I think, with the heat have reset in certain unusual ways. Looks like we should be good to go. So we'll show you the starting lineup today on offense for your Brantford Red Sox. Ready for the second inning of work. We're going to start at the 5 spot. Here's your starting lineup: Renton Takioka, Ethan Palos, Cassidy Watt, your top 3. Remember, Watt playing third base defensively today. Christian Ortega at shortstop. Brody Black in the 5 spot. He'll start this inning off, and Matty Torreson will hit at 6. Then it's Bateman, DeVapelin getting the start at DH today, and Lucas Lefebvre, your full-time shortstop, starting in that number 9 spot. And Aiden Armitage, of course, your starter. You've seen him for 2 innings today. But now it's Carwin Salcedo Reyes for the Hamilton Cardinals, back on the mound. We'll see what he can do leading off against Brody Black.
Well, he had a good first inning. Throws hard, like I say. He throws a nice little cutter, slider, hard slider. I'm not sure exactly what he's calling that pitch. But a lot of times pitchers will just show you that hard stuff right away and then break in the off-speed stuff second time through the order. Again, though, we were thinking, we're not sure how far. He hasn't pitched a lot of innings. We don't know a lot about this guy. We don't know how deep he's going to go. We don't know if he's on a pitch count. We don't know a whole lot, to be honest with you, such is the nature of the beast at this league. But at the end of the day, he's had a good first inning. Now that the one thing that they do real well on every team in this league is the gathering of information about a pitcher. So we'll see if he can replicate it in the second inning or whether the Red Sox hitters have picked something up here.
Here's Brody Black. First pitch almost hits him on the inside. Ball 1 from Salcedo Reyes. And Brody Black hitting .275 on the season. We've talked about the 17 RBIs, but the thing he'll want to keep down here, Brian, 29 strikeouts to 6 walks on the year.
Yeah, not a great ratio. Having said that, he seems to be a different hitter than he was a month ago to me. He really wasn't. He was having trouble barreling up anything, and but lately he's been red hot.
Swing and a miss there for strike 1. 2-1 now the count.
The one thing you'll notice about him is he swings. He doesn't have that long power hitter swing. He's got a good short, compact swing, like I like to say, short to the baseball. And it keeps your bat in the hitting zone a little bit longer with less effort, and the ball still really jumps off his bat.
Here's the 2-1 to Brody Black. That ball popped up and over our heads, out towards the parking lot, 2-2.
This is a kind of swing that is conducive to hitting hard pitchers. When you're short to the ball like that, you can let it travel a little bit further. The off-speed pitches, you can wait a little bit longer to make it decide whether you want to swing or not. So with 2 strikes, he's playing defensively here. This is where that short swing really comes in to help you.
Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the day, pardon me, for Salcedo Reyes. Ended the first inning with 1 on Ortega. Gets number 2 against Black.
Good slider, great location. It's what we call the strike to ball slider, where it starts looking like a fastball on the low outside with 2 strikes to get you to commit to the pitch. And then about 10 feet before the plate, it starts to break toward the dirt. And by that point, you've already committed to the swing, and all you can do is swing over top of it and, enjoy the walk back to the dugout.
First pitch by Torres, and that one sent off towards first base. Takes a weird bounce, but will field it cleanly. Tanner Rempel records the second out of the inning.
Well, really good-looking start here for Salcedo Reyes. He's busting guys in. He's busting guys in up and hard and then throwing them away on the slider and then mixing in a very live two-seam fastball. He's got a lot of movement on it. It looks like it's moving 6-8 inches. So when he's riding that pitch up and into the righties and then running the slider away from them.
First pitch down low in the zone there for ball 1 to Lucas Bateman. And yeah, we talked about almost 50 pitches the count so far for Aiden Armitage through 2 innings. Right now, Salcedo Reyes 23. That one does find the zone. He's really trying to pick that bottom spot. Finds it for 1-1 on Bateman. Lucas Bateman, formerly a second baseman, formerly a leadoff man for this Brantford Red Sox team. He's now dropped down to 266 average on the season, but still good consistency. That one, I think that one had hit him. Yes, it did hit him on the, yeah, he will. I think there was a quick chat with the umpire. He is going to get the free pass to first base. That one caught him on the hip and then caught the catcher.
Number 19, Josiah DeVapolin.
So here's Josiah DeVapolin here getting the call today at DH. Only 12 at-bats on the season, hitting 167. That's 2 hits in those 12 at-bats. One of them at 4 an RBI, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, 5 strikeouts. One of those hits was a double. The other a single. Now Bateman on first base. Oh, up and towards the head of DeVapolin. Salcedo Reyes, his pitch is on the inside, starting to get dangerously close to the batter.
Yeah, that's that running two-seamer that he throws. That he gets a lot of break to it. He's got a real good live arm, and so, if you see that coming inside of the plate, you better lay off or you're probably going to break your bat.
That one high for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to DeVapolin.
Throws pretty hard, throws high 80s, maybe touching 90. Tough to tell exactly without a gun, but looks like high 80s to me anyways. When you get some run on that, it's tough to lay off it, and like I said, it's hard to barrel it up. You saw the first hitter of the inning, Torreson, who got the second hitter of the inning, Torreson, who got jammed. Runner
Goes. There goes Bateman.
That was a
Slides in clean. Steal there. Rare you see a catcher steal, but it's because he's a part-time second baseman. Nice steal there by Bateman.
Well, that's good base running because Salcedo is not adjusting his release time, and so you can time him up. You could see he had a hop and a skip while Reyes was in the set position, and he was a good 12, 14 feet off the base and running full speed by the time he released it. No chance for the catcher.
Here's the 2-1 after the steal by Bateman. That one popped up over our heads. 2-2 now going to be the count.
And I don't know if they picked that up on the camera or not, but you could see the same thing at second base where he was getting that walking lead. And he probably could have stole third base there if he'd have taken off. One thing that's important to do for those of you who are young and listening at home or pitching, you always have to change up the timing on your release to the plate. It makes it tougher for the runners to time you up.
Up on a wild pitch. Bateman will advance. It'll make it a full count for DeVapolin. This will be a big at-bat for him. 3-2 on the full count, 2 outs in the inning, and now you've got a very eligible base runner on third.
Well, yeah, the inning can turn around on you in such a hurry. You get the first 2 hitters out pretty expeditiously on a strikeout and a first pitch ground out to first base. And then you walk a guy and he steals a base and a pass ball, and next thing you know, you're throwing stressful pitches at the end of the inning. And is a big dude, DeVapolin, and if you make a mistake to him, it's going to be 3-1 or even 3-2 in a hurry.
That one chopped. It's going to go foul. Keep this at bat alive. Very high outcome pitch here by DeVapolin. This one could really change the game, and he'll kick the can down the road a little bit. Foul that one off to keep the 3-2 alive. Lucas Lefebvre on deck.
That's that two-seamer running in that is so difficult to hit. He was lucky to get a bat on that. He's also lucky his bat didn't break there, and that's precisely what I was talking about a few moments ago.
Here's the 3-2, 2 outs. Swing and a miss by DeVaplin. Crucial time for Salcedo Reyes to get a K. He does so. And that will retire the side. We're going to take a break for just a moment. We'll hear a quick word from our sponsors. We'll return back in a couple moments for the start of the third inning as the Hamilton Cardinals take on your Brantford Red Sox in some Sunday afternoon IBL action.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Hard-line drive up the middle. Whoa! Lindor out of nowhere. How did he do that?
That Lindor can play. I don't know about that hair. And don't get me started on those gloves.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's time for a revolution. The Rev 1X by Rollins.
Alrighty, getting ready for the top of the third inning here as Carlos Dominguez, who singled in the first inning, he's back to kick off the third inning for the Cardinals. First pitch, well inside on the hands, clips the inside of the zone. Nice first pitch there by Armitage.
Nice slider to start the at-bat. He's done that a few times. Frankly, if I'm a Hamilton player, I probably sit slider coming up. He's thrown it to at least half the hitters so far.
Swing and a miss there by Dominguez. Armitage finds himself 0-2, looking for his third K of the day.
Well, we'll see if there's an adjustment made on his release point on the fastball. The slider's not been a problem today. He's able to throw it for a strike. The changeup has been okay. He's just trouble locating that fastball. Let's see if he can do it.
Swing and a miss on the 0-2. Fourth strikeout, pardon me, on the day for Aiden Armitage.
Hey, if you're having trouble with the fastball, just keep throwing that slider. He threw him 3 straight there. 2 inside that are what we call front dooring him, that are off the plate in, and then just break back in time to catch the black of the plate. And then threw one on the outside. It was a strike to ball, and got him to swing at it and got him on 3 pitches. A very much needed 3-pitch out. And now the big man's up again. So I love watching this kid hit.
Here's Williams. Swings and misses on his first. That's 4 straight whiffs to kick off the inning here for Aiden Armitage.
Well, and a good location on the fastball. Very encouraging. Let's see if we can keep that up throughout the inning.
Armitage started today off 4 of the first 5 batters scored hits. Only 1 in the next 7 since then. That one off the ground, off of him. A little bit of discomfort there for Williams.
Well, another good fastball there. Apparently the word is to throw hard on Williams because they've thrown him almost exclusively fastballs here. They threw him 1 slider early in the count and then all fastballs afterwards that led to his sacrifice fly to Brody Black out in right field. Now you've got him 0-2 here, so a couple options, you know, the old school up and in and hard or backdoor slider.
0-2, that one low in the dirt, so the AB will keep going. First ball thrown by Armitage in this inning. Nico Kakados coming back up next for the Hamilton Cardinals. He's on deck, struck out in the first. Here's the 1-2 to Williams.
See if we can get him chase a slider here.
Swing and a miss. 5th K on the day. Second to start the inning. Aiden Armitage. He's got some punch-out stuff on this Sunday afternoon.
Well, I tell you what, that is good execution. He had a tailing fastball that he threw right on the black. With 2 strikes, you can't lay off that pitch. It's too close to take, but it broke about 2-3 inches off the plate and really was a really good execution there. He looks a lot better. He's clearly made an adjustment to his mechanics here in the third.
Here's the left fielder, Kakados. 2 outs in front of him in the inning. That one will clip the bottom. Another off speed, and they've stopped swinging at these first pitches of the at-bat because he's getting Ks consistently on them. The 0-1. That one wide and off the plate. It'll go wild. Luckily, no base runners. It'll be 1-1. Player for the Cardinals had to come out and get that. I wonder if our all-star bat boy, Emmett Cooper, must not be in the building today. Here's the 1-1. That one well barreled off towards Paulos. It'll get down for a 2-hop single. A stand-up single on base. Nico Kakados got his first hit of the day.
That slider kind of backed up on him a little bit, and that's what a 300 hitter does to a backup slider. He rips it into center field for a base hit. Having said that, that's why, that's the importance of getting those first 2 outs. But again, first 2 guys out, just like we talked about in the bottom of the second for Brantford. You get the first 2 guys out expeditiously, and then, the third guy gets a hit. So it's important to just keep hammering away the zone, have a quick inning here to keep that pitch count down.
Nice. Low and in the dirt for ball 1. This Tanner Rempel now up to bat.
What a great block by Bateman there. Man, he's really got good lateral motion.
Tanner Rempel has a real close stance, really clogs up that inside corner of the plate. Makes sense he leads the team with 5 hit by pitches on the year.
It's not surprising when you're standing on the chalk line on the inside of the batter's box.
Stands close, but not close enough to see the ball. First strike of the AB, 1-1. Kakados, a little bit of a lead off on first. That one just barely too low. This is the home plate umpire, 2-1.
Yeah, close pitch there. They wanted to call, obviously, but just a little bit too far down and out.
Lead off again by Kakados. About a 5-step. That one low and in the dirt once again. Armitage, when he gets his Ks, they look comfortable. When he throws a ball, looks like he can't quite find the plate. 3-1 here to Rempel. Would only be his 3rd walko out so far. The 3-1 from Armitage.
Runner
goes. Bateman won't even get a chance to try the pickoff because he won't need to. That's a 4-ball walk on Tanner Rempel there. Nice decision there by Kakados on the base paths.
Well, I find it interesting. I may have picked something up here. I'm just going to have to keep watching it. But he seems to have better control of the fastball from the full windup than he does from the set position. And it kind of looks like his front side's flying out a little bit, which is affecting his release point on the fastball. So when he's doing the full windup, he's keeping that front side closed up. You can, you can't, if you look from where we're sitting, you can see Red Sox. You can see his jersey name. See how when he misses, like he did there, when he misses glove side, you can see the front of his jersey well before he releases the baseball. And so he's just flying out a little bit on the front side, and he didn't seem to be doing that on the full windup.
It's an interesting point. We'll keep an eye on him through the rest of the way. Jomar Hernandez here. 1-0. Wow, that one looked a little bit closer to the zone. Must have been high. Home plate umpire will say 2-0. Remember, base runners on first and second. That's Kakados and Rempel, respectively. Here's the 2-0 to Hernandez. That one low in the dirt again. That was 3 in a row. And don't forget, Hernandez walked in the second inning, later scored, looking for number 2 on the day.
to my point earlier, get the first two guys out on 7 pitches with 2 strikeouts. And then suddenly you put yourself in a situation where you're still throwing 20, 25 pitches in an inning because you're not throwing strikes.
64 pitches through the first 8 batters. First 8 outs, I should say. That one is in the zone, and Hernandez was already headed off to first. Kyle Warner says, come back here. So this will now be the 3-1.
Yeah, the number 8 hitter, the catcher, you got to throw a strike here. You can't let him walk. Runner.
Runners go, hit and run as Hernandez pops it over the head of the shortstop. Throw in from Takioka. The cutoff man tries to get it, but not in time. Nico Kakado's 4th runner of the day for the Cardinals, and Hamilton's up 4-0. Perfect hit and run execution there.
I got to tell you, I'm a little taken aback by that. There's one of the oldest rules of baseball: never make the first or the third out at third base. It was a right-handed hitter, which does block off the throw a little bit for Bateman. But at the end of the day, that is a very, very risky play when you got your number 8 hitter up in a 3-1 count, 2 runners on, and you send the runner. Boy, that was a really brave play by Hamilton. Not something that I'd ever try coaching third base. That must be why he makes the big bucks.
Jaden Brown sees runners at first and second. And he sees one in on him for a strike. Close part of the plate, off speed. Jaden Brown popped up in the second. He's back for his second attempt today.
And unfortunately for Brantford, we've got a little bit of action going on in the bullpen there. Not what they were hoping for. They were hoping Armitage could get them into the 6th or the 7th inning at least on this hot day. But at this rate, he's going to struggle to get through 4.
Quick pick-off attempt. Nobody's covering second, so no point. And I think one of the storylines, we put a lot on the bullpen. We really do try to be critical, but a lot of these starters for Brantford just haven't been able to get into ball games the same way they were early in the year. The run prevention for the team as a whole, as the offense has gotten better, has kind of gone the other way.
Well, you know, they're second last in the league in runs against, and they and the Panthers are kind of off in a place by themselves for numbers. Over 200 runs given up in 25-ish ball games. You know what I mean? That's that's a lot of runs. That's 8 a game almost, and that's tough to have a good record when you have to score 8 or 9 runs to win every night. You know, last night they scored 5, wasn't enough. So at the end of the day, this looks mechanical with Armitage. We've seen him be way better than this. Armitage is probably their best arm as far as starters go, and we've also seen him go deep into the game. We saw him beat Guelph on a masterful 8-inning performance.
I went a little bit too high there to Brown.
But yeah, I pretty much convinced myself that when he's throwing from the stretch, he not only flies that front side open, the stride goes a little bit to first base, which causes him to open up, and that's just going to completely, you will never have a consistent release point when the front side is flying open. So he'll have to throw on an off day and just work on kind of a linear delivery.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 through 3 innings. It's a surprise with the consistency he's had getting punch-outs that he's thrown as many pitches as he had today. But Armitage has had some ups, he's had some downs, but at least he gets out of the inning with only 1 run allowed.
Well, therein lies the frustration, you know, as a manager, where you see your guy who's got good stuff today, but he just can't throw enough strikes to be really impactful. And, you know, the mistakes that he's made outside of the zone are causing him walks. The mistakes that he's making in the zone are getting knocked. You look at that hit by Hernandez, was a hanger up in the zone right in the middle of the plate, and I could think back to Nichols' hit as well, was another hanger as well. In the first inning, Duncan's, same thing. That pitch that's up, middle of the plate, belt high. There's a term for that I won't use on air that they use in baseball, but it's a situation where that's a danger zone, and frankly, you know, a lot of times those end up over the fence for real big hits. So the good news is that after 3 innings of not being real effective, they're down 4-0, but this is a team that can really hit. They started to make some noise in that bottom of that 3rd inning. Once you get around the order again from a guy that you haven't seen before, now they've got the full information. You're looking for something out over the plate with that 2-seamer that Reyes throws that's going to bend back into your wheelhouse, especially if you're a right-handed hitter. Or the lefties, you know, when they see something that starts off on the inside of the plate, that's something you're going to want to jump on because it's probably going to break back into the middle of the plate. So that's what I'm doing right now if I'm a Brantford hitter is I'm looking for that two-seamer in a mistake area where I can really jump on it and punish him.
Well, you're going to see those very hot hitters you were talking about a moment ago, Brian. At the later part of this inning, we're going to be led off by Lucas Lefebvre, who's hitting .250 on the season. Smaller sample size. Remember, he's only been the shortstop offensively for this ball team about the last 2 to 3 weeks. We see that arm warming up in the bullpen for Brantford, so we'll see if Armitage returns when we get all the way to the top of the fourth. But right now, Salcedo Reyes on the day, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch, and then 3 ground balls. He's done a good job keeping the baseball out of the air and hasn't allowed a hit yet.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that's a good live arm he's got there. You can see why they like him. And again, I don't know how far they're going to roll with him, but his pitch count's pretty low. Just ran into a little bit of trouble near the end of the inning, but when you're getting the first 2 hitters out every inning, then it's a good way to go through a ball game.
First pitch picks the bottom corner. Strike 1 on Lefebvre.
You know, one of my old sayings for when I manage games, you know, for pitchers, get ahead, stay ahead. Be around the plate, get them into swing mode.
The 0-1 close on the hands. That'll even the count at 1-1.
Generally speaking, the busier defense is, the better they will be. When they're standing around, their feet kind of sink into the dirt. Their reaction times aren't as good.
That ball in for a strike. Once again, picking that bottom corner well.
It's a real active bench. They're very vocal over there in the Hamilton bench. You don't hear that a lot at this level, to be honest with you. Normally that's more quiet, but it's a pretty active vocal bench they've got.
That ball chopped off at the third base side. They'll even the count, keep it at 1-2.
The dichotomy here is you felt like you were running into Hamilton at a good time, the 4th game in 4 days, but, you know, on the other side of the coin,
for ball 2.
they've won 4 straight, and they're not, you know, they're just not giving up any runs at all. You know, they give up 1 run over the last 3 games. Here we are in the 3rd inning, and they still haven't given up 1, and haven't even given up a hit. So, you know.
The 2-2. That one high, it'll make it a full count. And I think part of the mystery for the Hamilton Cardinals that a lot of teams in the league were maybe doubting them on paper was they just hadn't played many baseball games. They had a lot of games get delayed start of the year. There was a point where a team had played 26 games. They had still only played 20. That they've caught up there. They've played a lot of games in a lot of days, and they've won them all. I give Hamilton huge credit. The full count. Lefebvre swings and misses. Number 4 on the day for Carwin Salcedo Reyes.
And that's the 3rd time today that we've seen the fastball run in up the hands of the right-handed hitter.
So here's Ren Takioka, first batter to have 2 ABs today for Brantford. Grounded out in the 1st inning. He's back, and he's kept that hitting streak alive. Not only has he been on base almost, I believe there's 1 game he wasn't since his start here with the Brantford Red Sox. Not necessarily a hitting streak, but he's hit pretty consistently in all of them. And the last couple of games, he's just exploded. 2 4-hit games in the past 3 for him. Now he's at 450 on the year. I talk about water finding its level. Expect him to get a hit today. Shows bunt.
It's funny, you know, I was just thinking that same thing. The 3rd baseman, Jaden Brown, had come in a little bit, but he was still out on the dirt. And Reyes comes off the hill after his follow-through on his delivery. Just comes off a little wonky there. So seemed like a good opportunity. And as I recall, the infield is pretty quick here. So you get one up there about 40 feet up the line, they'll have no chance.
Shows bunt again. That time it goes down even. Ball rolls foul. Nice decision there by Salcedo Reyes, because Takioka would have legged that one out easy.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing, man. It was an easy base hit for Takioka if he keeps that ball fair. He just got under it a little bit, which put some spin on it and spun the ball into foul territory. As a rule, a high pitch is probably the most difficult one to bunt because it's hard to get it down on an angle. You're looking for a pitch that's a little bit lower, even a curveball, because it gets it bouncing and gets it rolling up the line.
Nice gesture there by Hernandez to give Takioka his bat. So it'll be 1-1 after those 2 bunt attempts. Here's Reyes. That one just on the bottom corner. 1-2 to Takioka.
Wonder if they'll go away with the 2-seamer here.
Home plate umpire Kyle Warner calling a bigger zone than we saw Friday. That one's high. That one's not within the larger zone, so it'll be 2-2.
They certainly have him set up for the outside two-seamer to start on the outside edge of the plate and run away and get a swing over top. But they're going to come back in by the look of it.
Takioka will send that one up and out to center field. It'll be the first hit of the day if it comes down, but it won't. Tyler Duncan will settle under it for the second out of the inning. So here comes Ethan Palos. Palos grounded out in the first inning. He's back up for his second shot today.
Well, I don't know if you caught that, but sorry, it's a fun situation out there where Tanner Rempel was on his way into the dugout until the bench reminded him that there's still only 2 out, and he had a good smile, had a good laugh over that.
That's what the kids call manifesting. Tanner Rempel's trying to manifest a trip back to the dugout here on this AB as Ethan Palos will give the bullpen a surprise there. That one will come down just past the third base grandstand. Foul ball. Cassidy Watt on deck now, hitting from the third base spot defensively today and the 3 spot in the lineup. His services may be needed if Palos can get on base. That one well hit out towards second base. Takes a weird hop, but he fields it cleanly. There is the out. Tanner Rempel will finally get to head back to the bench. And Reyes Cruz, I know we see weird bounces at that second base spot. He fielded that well.
Yeah, with full confidence there. He's got a great set of hands. He's veteran in this league. No problem there to make that play. Plus, I think that was a little, the infield is softer now, as I mentioned, because of the rain. So those bad bounces are not likely to be as prevalent as they were, say, on Thursday night when my team was here or on the weekend.
Well, I'm going to go out and take a look here around the IBL because we are one of 4 games on the slate today for IBL Sunday action, as we often are. Only 3 games started at and around 2 o'clock, so there will be 2 other games to report on. The first of those 2 at Christie Pitts today. The London Majors made the trip there to take on the Toronto Maple Leafs. 3-2 currently the lead as the London Majors are at bat in the top of the 4th. Then the Welland Jackfish and Chatham Kent Barnstormers both tied at 0. 3 innings in, top of the 3rd there in that game at Fergie Jenkins Field. Later today, the Barrie Bay Cats make the trip down to Jack Couch Park, and Brantford Red Sox fans, when this game comes to an end, keep an eye on that game, because the Kitchener Panthers we've talked about, they're similar to us in a lot of stats, and most importantly, they're the team we're chasing down for that last playoff spot. So remember, 3 games back coming into today. The Panthers, I believe, 9-17 on, or 9-18 on the year. We are at 6-20 coming into today's ball game. So again, the Hamilton Cardinals, like I talked about on Friday for Barrie, they're really in this for seeding. You'd love to control who you play because those top 2 or 3 teams at the top of the IBL right now, the Wellands, the Londons, less so the Chatham Kent Barnstormers, who have been a little bit shaky the last couple weeks, but those ball teams you want to avoid in the playoffs at all costs.
Yeah, if you're Hamilton, the home field advantage helps out because it is Bernie Arbor is a huge park. Might be the most difficult to hit a home run in. That London maybe, but with the pitching staff that they have, then that's where you want to be playing your playoff games. You don't want to go to a Toronto. You don't want to go to Kitchener, places that are easy to hit the home runs at. You want to play in the big parks. When you have a good pitching staff like they do, especially they're really good starters, play as many games as home as you can. Owen Boone, I don't know how you're going to beat Owen Boone in Hamilton, as hard as it is to knock the ball out of the ballpark in that park there. So, they're on a roll right now. They've won 4 straight. They're looking good today. They could really make some noise moving forward. And if they ever even, they're a game and a half back at Chatham, they could conceivably catch Barrie as well. We're still 17, 18 games, depending on which team you're talking to, till the end of the season. So, it's certainly within the realm of possibility they could end it up as high as second place even, which makes them a very, very dangerous team in the playoffs.
Well, Tommy Reyes Cruz will be back up for the 3rd time today. He led off for the Hamilton Cardinals, singled and walked in his first 2 at-bats. That one well off the plate. And Aiden Armitage was given more leash there by the management, but you're going to want to find the zone a little quicker than that if you want to stay in this ball game.
Well, they'll be hoping to at least get 5. I'm not sure that's realistic or not.
Second pitch shows bunt. Will get the bunt on the bat, but sends it well off to the third base side, 1-1. I want to say a quick thank you today to all of our volunteers who came out for today's ball game. I know a lot of uncertainty. Rogers TV, unfortunately, couldn't be here today to cover this one, but I'm sure they'll be back later in the year. And thank you to all of our volunteers. Thank you to Brandon, Ryan, and of course yourself, Brian, coming out on a very hot day here at Arnold Anderson. calling a great game of baseball so far. 1-1. That one looked well vertically or horizontally. Must have dropped there late. 2-1.
He must have thought that was up. I thought it could have caught a bit of the plate, although it should be noted that we don't have a great look at the plate behind catcher and umpire from our vantage point.
Here's the 2-1. That one low and wide. 3-1.
Yeah, the home fans thought maybe that was strike 3 there. Just kind of keeping an eye on the mechanics of that delivery there. He's all around the plate, this at bat. He's just not getting a call here.
Here's the 3-1 from Armitage. And it'll be the 4-1. That one well in the dirt. 4th walk of the day for Armitage, this time to Tommy Reyes-Cruz.
Realistically, I'm not sure how long you're going to go
Now batting for the Cardinals, number 32.
with Armitage, with the amount of they played in the last week or so. I mean, clearly they were looking for a really extended start out of him, but if he gets into any trouble here, we may see Brantford go to the bullpen.
I mean, depending on your definition of extended game here, Brian, he's had 75 pitches now. He's thrown what would be a textbook start for most IBL starters. Just unfortunately, he's still only in the top of the 4th.
That's a big lead.
There is Cruz. Oh, he agreed with you there, Brian. Pickoff attempt by Armitage. Doesn't find pay dirt. Runner is safe at first. And Brandon Nickel back up. 3rd time today. He's 1-2 with the strikeout.
It's a situation where maybe you put a play on here. It's aggressive, but you might try it.
Swing and a miss from Nickel. When he doesn't barrel that baseball, he swings hard and misses even harder.
Yeah, the old golf analogy, he doesn't leave anything in the bag when he swings it. He's an aggressive player, and you can afford to be with the big stick behind you, the former MVP behind you. So, like I said.
Swing and a miss again. If he was playing golf, Brian, if he had a wedge, 3 swings, and he'd empty out an entire bunker. He's got some power in that swing.
He does, and that was a really good location on that pitch there. A little tailing fastball that caught the black on the outside, just above the belt, too close to take. So now you have to make a real smart pitch here.
Here's the 0-2. A little too low. Armitage tried something outside the zone to see if Nickel would chase. He didn't. 1-2.
Yeah, 0-2, you try and expand the zone to see what you'll get the batter to swing at, especially a guy who's been as aggressive in this at bat as Nickel. So I'm not sure I throw him a strike here either.
Quick release. Nickel will hit that one well past the shortstop. Today it's Ortega. And Takioka will throw it back in to hold the runners at 1-2.
It's unfortunate, a mistake there where he just caught it right. The slider came down right in the middle and had him at a disadvantage, and then kind of let him off the hook with a pitch that was right in his wheelhouse. So now you've got a situation here where this can get away on you. The 2 of these next 3 hitters are very dangerous.
Remember, Tyler Duncan coming off a cycle with 2 home runs. He's got the single, so he'll need a big day to repeat, but he's got runners in 1st and 2nd position at least. Here's Armitage. Takes a quick look at 2nd.
Wow.
Shows bunt, but well off the plate there.
All the time I've seen this guy hit, I've never seen him square at a bunt before.
So runners on 1st and 2nd. Armitage being vigilant, watching the second baseman runner.
There he goes again.
Shows
Sure
it
enough.
again. Easily to Armitage. See if he can make the throw to first. He can. Sits him down. Sack bunt. Runners will advance. But just to take Tyler Duncan off the plate, I think is a victory.
Yeah, if I'm tipping my cat to the opposition if I'm the manager of the Red Sox. Thanks.
Yeah, but I will admit, bizarre decision there to go bunt, especially no outs.
Well, I guess from a theoretical standpoint, the infield's going to come in now for Brantford. They can't afford to give up any more runs here. Check that. Check it. Ooh.
Bit of disagreement there.
I'm afraid I must disagree as well. That looked like a swing to me.
So they give it to him. Ball 1 here. As again, runners on 2nd and 3rd, 1 out in the inning. Armitage trying to keep his start today alive on 82 pitches. Here's the 1-0. That one will find the bottom. That one a little bit more favorable. A couple Hamilton fans in the crowd disagree with that call.
Good spot there. Now, it looks like they want to hammer him hard here with fastballs. We'll see how much they stick with it or whether they go slider here.
Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss there from Dominguez.
Pulled the string.
He's doing a great job getting whiffs today, and they seem to be on a little bit more of a wavelength. Haven't seen quite the issues with pitch placement that we did in the past.
Well, he needs a strikeout here, so they can get it to 2 out before the big guy gets up. You can walk him and move on.
It'd be 7 on the day, 7 strikeout. No, that one sent off and up, out foul, out towards the third base line. It'll bounce over towards the Hamilton bullpen.
A good pitch there. The slider that just caught the bottom outside corner of the plate. So now you've got an opportunity. You went hard early and then set him up with an outside slider. You may have him leaning a bit. Might be a good opportunity to throw him hard up and in here. Looks like they're coming back inside.
Here's the 2-2. That one struck out towards right field. Is going to go foul off towards the parking lot area.
Well, that's the pitch, except he misses location there. Bateman asked for it up and in, and he got it out over the plate, so he got away with that mistake. He's still got the big velo, and I think if it's me, I go right back in, only hopefully they can execute and get that location. Get it up and in on the hands, and he will most likely swing under it.
Dominguez looking at 2-2.
Nope, going back out with the slider by the look of it. Yep.
And they saw that all the way to the second baseman. Lefebvre will play it to first, but the run will come in. Sack hit. You were absolutely right, Brian, but so was Dominguez. He'll score the run there.
Yeah, see, the problem with that is that you give them an opportunity to just slap the ball in play, and that scores a run, whereas if you go hard in, it's harder for him to pull the ball, and he probably rolls it over to the third baseman.
So 5-0 now the lead for the Hamilton Cardinals here in Brantford. Josh Williams, only one base runner now in front of him. 2 outs in the inning, but the big man with the big bat could very easily make it 7-0 here. Armitage stays in the game. This will be pitch 88. Swing and a miss, just kind of a lazy swing. I think he realized about halfway to the plate. He didn't quite know where that one was going.
Yeah, that was a bit of an ugly, certainly was sitting dead red fastball. We used to call that swing the old Pedro Serrano, you know. Curveball, bats are afraid.
So runner still on third, that's Nickel. The 0-1. That one popped up high over the head of Cassidy Watt playing third, but that one will trail off towards the bullpen. 0-2.
So good pitch there, good execution, hard in. Don't give him a chance to extend those arms. You got to think he's set right up for that slider again here.
So Nichols still on third. Could end the inning. Would be strikeout number 7. That one chopped off foul. Off to go grab it is Matt Torzen.
Went with the 2-seamer low outside. Good pitch there. Got soft contact, but he managed to foul it off.
Just Williams hitting .305 on the year, and you have 12 RBIs off 4 home runs. He's a threat in more ways than one, and if Armitage can get his second K against him of the day, that's not a bad inning. That one is absolutely barreled. Paolo should be able to get under it, not tracking well. I don't get it. It'll come down for him and to end off the top of the 4th inning. But I got to say, Brian, when he barrels up that baseball, it sounds like a home run every time.
It does. Well, if you look at it, when he likes to stick the bat parallel to the ground over his shoulder and just kind of keep that momentum motion going, the bat looks like a toothpick in his hands because his arms are so big, man. He's such a big dude. But you're right. He gets through the zone, generates a lot of bat speed, and when he barrels up, it goes way up in the air. So it's in a different scenario. You'd almost like to see him. You know, I hope he's involved in the home run contest in the All-Star game because, especially in his home park, you would think that he'll be part of that.
We were talking about that with on the new episode of Brantford Red Sox Report that, don't forget, comes out tomorrow on YouTube and at 10 o'clock on Rogers Channel 20 cable. We talked about that with Chris Ortega, former USPBL home run derby champion last year. He's one of our bigger bats on the team. And it's really such a fun skill set for guys at this level to have, because power and ability and athleticism to really strike a baseball when you catch up to it. It's a skill set that I think is closer between the IBL and the major leagues than a lot of other skill sets. If you're just a big guy with big power and you can barrel a baseball well, a home run derby can see hits nearly as far as the MLB, and that's what makes it fun.
Well, I think you make a fair point that, obviously the big difference is, the guys at the major league level, they're hitting 98-mile-an-hour fastballs. And, we were watching Miller from Oakland last night in the Jays game. He throws a 92-mile-an-hour changeup, and those are just, you're looking at a guy like Reyes here who's pushing 90, high 80s, maybe touching 90 on the gun, and that's his fastball. So you're talking about in the majors a guy named Miller for Oakland, for the Athletics, whose changeup is 2 miles an hour faster than this guy's fastball. So, but there's no denying that there's some absolutely huge dudes. I could just see Jonathan Salazzo down there, a longtime veteran in the IBL, former Toronto Maple Leaf. And if you ever see him warming up, he only wears the tank top, because I don't think they make a T-shirt that fits his arms into it. So, these guys are big, they're strong. A lot of them are gym rats. They've been lifting weights most of their adult life. And you're right, they can hit the ball 400 feet. They can hit the ball 430 feet, 450 feet. So should be a lot of fun at Bernie Harbor at the All-Star game to see them hitting the home run competition.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mason Miller for the Athletics there, he is not going to ever get the call to pitch for a home run derby. He is too lethal. But if they ever have a ground out to second base contest, he'd be my first overall pick there. Here's Cassidy Watt. Chops that one back to the pitcher. Salcedo Reyes might just run it all the way. Tosses it late to Rempel. Quick first pitch, first out of the inning for the top of the fourth.
And there's yet another pitch where he runs that two-seamer up in on the hands of the right-handed batter. It's been an extremely effective pitch for him thus far today.
There should be a trackable stat for first pitch groundouts, because to my recollection, Salcedo Reyes has 4 today, and I know he's lacking in the strikeout column compared to David Armitage, but those first pitch groundouts are how you speed your day up.
Well, he's kind of turned it around to what we were talking about before the game, and the fact that Armitage is usually the one who doesn't get a lot of Ks and pitches to contact. Mm-hmm. But he's got, what did you say, 6 at least?
So far. Yep.
6 at least, and that's only through 3 innings. I mean, he's only got 9 guys out, 6 of them by the way of the strikeout.
Here's Chris Ortega. 0-1 the count for him so far. That one popped up and over our heads, so it'll be 0-2. Trying not to strike out for the second time today. That's what he did in the first. On deck will be Brody Black. So no hits still on the day for the Brantford Red Sox. Similar story a couple weeks ago for us against Kitchener there, Brian. Mm-hmm. Owen McNeil in that one, as Chris Ortega gets that one cleanly to third. Safe hop, back to Rempel, and he's doing a great job with the range. Doesn't walk back to the dugout early this time, and that's 2 outs there to Ortega.
Yeah, you can bet he heard about that when he got back to the dugout for sure. So another 2 quick out inning for Reyes, and boy, he looks so good. He's all around the zone, throwing a lot of strikes, and again, running that two-seam fastball into the hands of the right-handed hitters of what is a predominantly right-handed hitter lineup after you get through 1 and 2 with Takioga and Paulus.
That one high for ball 1. Facing off against Black, Salcedo Reyes. That was his 51st pitch of the day. Almost done through 4 innings. Impressive consistency. That one shot past him. Might get down for the first pitch of the day, or first hit of the day, I should say. Yes, it does. It'll be fielded by Tyler Duncan. Black will take the stop side at first, and at least the Brantford Red Sox are now on the board in the hit column.
Well, and Brody Black has been swinging a really good bat the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Next for your Red Sox, your first baseman, number 27.
Here comes Matty Torreson. Already has a game-winning home run here on the season. He's hit pretty well in the year, 262 his average. 13 strikeouts, 5 walks, 6 RBIs, only 1 home run. But remember, that was that Father's Day game winner. And now he's got Black on base in front of him. That one popped up high. Somebody should be able to come down with that one. I think it'll be Rempel. Yes, it will. That'll end the inning there. One base runner. It was the hit there by Brody Black a minute ago. But what stands out to me, I think that was in and around 11 pitches for that whole inning there, Brian.
Well, he's in the zone all the time, isn't he? And he's just getting them in swing mode. One thing, it was an interesting play that happened out by first base there with a base runner and Hempel, the first baseman, I wouldn't want to say collided, but they had contact there. So if he'd have fallen over, the other thing that I noticed is I looked directly at the two base umpires and nobody pointed in that direction, which is a sign for an obstruction play by a runner. So they may have called it if the ball would have hit the ground. I don't know, to be honest with you. So it's just food for thought there. But it is at this point irrelevant as Rumpel made the catch for the third out. So the good news, I guess, is that Brantford's finally got a hit. And you just work from there, I guess. You know, they'll have the bottom of the order, 7, 8, 9 coming up next inning. What they need right now, though, is a clean inning by Armitage to start getting some kind of momentum moving forward, because it's just seemed to be a very long top of the inning and a very short bottom of the inning thus far through 4. So, like I said, it's just really important now that it's interesting that just to kind of caught myself in between thoughts here. Armitage is pitching exclusively from the stretch position now.
He'll stay in the game there. We talked about up almost towards 90 pitches here through the first 4 innings of his work. He'll stay out. And I think even in a game that I think the efficiency hasn't quite been there, 7 hits through 4, 5 runs allowed. But at a certain point, just eating innings and trying to keep that run differential attainable, that's a noble effort in itself. So I give him props for still staying in this game. We've seen that arm there for a while, Brian. He's still warming up. We've had a reliever for now 3 full innings, which honestly, I know he's been relieving on and off and warming up in the bullpen, but on a hot day, that's a meaningful time off your arm.
Yeah, I agree. Generally, you don't want to, like, you'll shut a guy down once, but once you get him up a second time, you pretty much have to bring him in or shut him down for the day. You know what I mean? So.
Here's Nico Kakatos. Nico Kakatos up here for the Hamilton Cardinals. He'll be the leadoff batter for the top of the 5th inning. Tanner Rempel, Jomar Hernandez will be the next 2 we'll see for the Cardinals. Armitage still on the mound. Sun's starting to beat down again. Had some shade a moment ago. Back to full exposure. That one in right down the middle. Armitage starts the inning off with a strike.
Just keeping an eye on the mechanics of Armitage here. Hopefully he can get that locked in so he can just throw consistent strikes.
I didn't quite do so there. Bateman can't quite glove that one. Kakatos will go grab it for him. 1-1. Pitch count 91, the exact number here for Armitage. Well, might be up in the 3 digits by the end of this inning.
Yeah, barring the unforeseen, and I would agree with you there. And like I say, I think they're just going to try and get him through this inning, and he'll probably be done, which is why they've got.
Swing and a miss there by Kakatos. 2nd strike of the AB.
Great location on the strike-to-ball slider on the 2nd pitch of the at-bat. So one thing he has done pretty well is get ahead of hitters. He's gotten ahead of a lot of hitters. Just having trouble closing them out. He's made a couple of mistakes with 2 strikes.
1-2. That one low and in the dirt. He'll keep it at 2-2 now the count. Looking for still looking for that 7th strikeout of the day, which I feel like I've been saying for a while.
Really gotten an appreciation of Bateman's lateral movement, getting in front of baseballs, knowing that curveball is coming, especially when you start with 1 knee down like he does.
That one chopped off towards the 3rd base side. Can't make the play on it. Watt will just miss that one with the glove. Into first base comes Kakatos. See if they chalk that up as an error or a single. It was a well-hit ball. Like I don't put it squarely on Watt, but he had the glove range there, just couldn't quite make the play on it. And a rare appearance at 3rd base.
I think it bounced up a little higher than he was expecting it to bounce. And you got to believe that's it for Armitage, I would think.
Yeah, 2nd visit of the day. Here comes the manager to relieve him of his duties.
Oh, well, Armitage doesn't want to come out.
I believe he has to. I believe we had didn't have a mound visit earlier? I thought we had one in the 3rd. All righty, we'll get a 2nd chance if he decides he wants one. Again, he's pitched.
He's out there saying, I'm good, Skip. Let me go. I'm good.
96 pitches, and he's still trying to stay out there.
He talked him into it.
All right, he gives a quick fist bump to the boys in the infield.
I've been there.
I mean, at this point, you talked earlier about how the Hamilton Cardinals, when they chose to sacrifice Tyler Duncan earlier, the Red Sox were kind of tipping the cap saying thank you. At this point, the Hamilton Cardinals might be doing the same thing back, thinking, I think third time through the order, we figured this guy out. We'll see if Armitage has something up his sleeve here, as now we'll face Tanner Rempel.
Well, in fairness, of their 5 runs, it's not like they're knocking Armitage around. He's put runners on base with walks. And I don't think they have an extra base hit.
Ooh, that one almost off the foot there. Well inside the zone for ball 1. Kakato's now on first. Jomar Hernandez now up in the batter's circle.
And you've got 7, 8, 9 next up in the order. So, it's worth taking a risk to get Armitage to get through the 5th here.
That one off the other way. Wild pitch will advance the runner to second. After waving off his manager trying to stay in the game, Armitage's first 2 pitches well outside the zone both ways. So now Kakato's on second. 2-0 going to be the count here for Tanner Rempel.
There seems to be a consistency with his stride as well, or excuse me, an inconsistency in relation to where his front foot lands in a linear fashion. Sometimes it's straight, sometimes he kind of pulls it out to the first base side. And that's part and parcel of having those good, durable, repeatable mechanics in a pitching motion. If you're pushing your foot to the first base side a little bit, that's how you fly open and generally miss on the glove side. That's
Finally
a good
finds
pitch
the
there.
zone after being down 3-0. He'll now be 3-1. And I got to assume the heat has to play some part of the mechanics kind of getting sloppy. You got to think that's one of the first things to go.
It's possible, yeah, definitely. I mean, when you get tired, but he, keeping in mind he's been struggling with this mechanical issue since probably the 2nd inning.
That one finds the inside, was getting ready to toss the bat off, but Tanner Rempel, one of many Hamilton hitters today to predict the call before it's made and gets it wrong.
Well, here's a big pitch here, another 3-ball count, unfortunately, right after he talked the manager into keeping him in, so he'll be really looking to bear down here and throw a strike.
3-2. That one chopped off towards the third baseman. Watt won't play that one either. That one will head off to Takioka as well. And Cassidy Watt has to be frustrated with himself there. 2 in this inning that were in glove range. Couldn't quite get the glove on it, and now Tanner Rempel. He was going to get a free pass a moment ago. Now he'll do so with the bat. He's on first.
And the unfortunate thing is they were both right in the context that he got a ground ball and should have gotten an out here. But that was a 6th pitch at bat. Now I think by your count he's got to be up just about to 100, I would think.
102 the final count as he's pulled from the game.
So
kind of a somber round of applause here as Aiden Armitage exits this one. And again, I understand this hasn't quite gone the way for him. 5 earned runs. He's come out of the game with a number of hits there for the Cardinals. But 102 pitches there in this heat, Brian, that's an achievement in itself.
that's enough. That's plenty. And that's probably why the manager was out trying to get him last time, to be honest with you, to get a fresh arm in there.
Well, we should find out momentarily who will be coming in to relieve Aiden Armitage there. Once we get a number,
I didn't catch a number. I thought it was Bettis, but I don't know.
So this is the story, I guess. We talk again about the defensive situation with another slight Cassidy Watt misplay of the baseball on third. And I understand the testing out. If you want to try something new on defense, maybe you think, as you've mentioned, that lateral quickness from Bateman, maybe that's enough upside that you want to put a new guy in at second. You want to try a new catcher defensively. But in such a crucial game where you got a lot of great relief pitchers there, left in the bullpen for this game, you don't have a game ahead for a little bit. I'm surprised you do the creative defensive maneuvering in such an important game as this one.
Now pitching for the Brantford Jackson Smith.
At the end of the day, you need to find a balance of defense versus offense. You want Watts bat in the lineup. He's been hitting well lately. He's got a ton of power. Like I said, if he caught last night in Barrie, he was never going to catch this afternoon. You wouldn't think anyway. That's a rarity where you're going to catch a day game after a night game. So the one thing that kind of gets in the way of your plan from game to game is the amount of games that you're playing in succession. I've been through it many, many times where, you know, there's a certain lineup that I want to go with against a certain team. But, you know, yesterday, prime example, my 22U team was up in Innisfil in a tournament. I have a number one catcher, but I can't catch him both games in 30-degree heat. It's just not realistic. So, we got him in for 3 innings in the first game, and then I get him out. And we sacrifice a little bit defensively with our backup catcher to make sure that our starting catcher still has enough gumption to get through 7 innings in the second game of the day. And so sometimes your schedule dictates how you're going to align your defense and getting the guys in just by how many times you're playing in a week. So I understand your point of, you've got some time off ahead of this game, but you also have to look at what was going on before this game.
Well, I think then that point becomes you need just a solid defensive catcher the rest of the way, and if you make the playoffs. So here's Jackson Smith here coming in to relieve for the Red Sox. That one popped back by Jomar Hernandez.
Well, the other thing, too, is Savage. I'm not sure what's up there.
Yeah, I haven't seen Savage in a couple games.
Folks at home should understand we're not in the inner sanctum of strategies for the management team. So, we find out what information we can pregame. But Andrew Savage is caught for this team as well. He's also given them a very good third base. And, I'm sure that they were hoping to get a W out of this game. But, like I said, right now the Hamilton pitching staff is just lights out. And you almost felt like in the first inning, those 2 runs that Hamilton scored might have stood up the way Hamilton's been pitching the ball the last week or so.
Here's the 1-1 Hernandez from Smith. That one up high inside towards the face. 2-1. Runner still on first. Runners on the corners in total. Kakados also on third there after he advanced on that last single from Rempel. Rempel, the man on first. The 2-1. That one chopped off right towards the shortstop. Ortega for 1, for 2. The run will score, but 2 quick outs on the double play. 6-0. No runs for the Brantford Red Sox so far. The Cardinals 6-0 lead in the 5th inning.
Well, and that's how you can turn a big inning into a little inning. You can't give up the crooked number. You got a runner on third and nobody out. You don't concede that run necessarily, but turning that double play sends it to 2 out, nobody on. And now the number 9 hitter up, which is an opportunity to get out of the inning, only giving up 1 run.
That one sent well off by Jaden Brown right at Ortega, though, and it's in. They'll end that one a little bit quicker than many would have assumed. Nice 2 textbook plays by today's substitute shortstop, Chris Ortega.
And there's another thing where that's the first time I've seen Ortega play short. He's been DHing a lot, and so, like I said, these are things that are predicated by playing 4 games in 4 days where you got to get guys, you want them in the lineup, but, you got to also get guys their rest, right? It's tough to play 4 days in a row. Anybody will tell you that. And that goes for anybody, not just young guys like I coach, but guys that are in their 30s that play in this league. Case in point, there's our solid player, Jonathan Salazzo, taking today off. They had him to come off the bench if they so needed him, or maybe they'll use him in the last half of the game. I doubt it, though. Up 6-0 in the 5th now, you would think he'll get the day off. But having said that, he may come in next inning and play defensively just to give a guy a breather, you know what I mean? So
to carry on what you were talking about there with Andrew Savage, I think that's a very interesting point to consider because his lack of presence in the lineup has surprised me. At a time when management for the Red Sox, they're putting more unknowns like Jeremy Veyu, Josiah DeVapel, and guys that haven't gotten many opportunities this season. They're starting to find their way into the lineup consistency, and he's been a weird absence the last couple weeks in that front. And my comparison with Bateman, because you got to remember, if he's coming in to catch, and if he is the plan, if they make the playoffs, the Brantford Red Sox want to say, all right, when you need peak defensive performance from your catcher every night, maybe he's our backup. Maybe once in a while we sub him in, put Watt at third. But a YouTuber named John Boyce had a great video back in 2016. It was about the Cleveland Browns in football, and their best receiver was a guy named Terrell Pryor, who was also their backup quarterback. And the interesting situation you make yourself when your receiver is your backup quarterback due to injury is when when he comes in at quarterback, he loses his best receiver because he is that guy.
Yes.
And Lucas Bateman, I think we can both agree, he's got great range. He'll make the occasional mistake, which, to be fair, you saw it with your team the other day, that weird bounce off the dirt there at second base.
That one magical spot on the right side of the infield between first and second.
Right, so it can be a real problem for a lot of second base plays, and that's really been the big issue for a lot of the year for Bateman, because he's been great. He makes textbook plays, and if you put him at catcher, you're putting a guy in that just doesn't have as many reps at second. Maybe LaFave will really step up there, but that would just be my concern, is you're losing your best second baseman by putting in a new guy at catcher.
Well, and your point is well made. And the other thing, too, when you follow that very thought to its conclusion, LaFave had given you very good work shortstop defensively. So now you've moved him over to 2, and now you've got Ortega at shortstop. Just made a very fine play, and we don't want to say anything negative about Ortega, especially with the amount he has played there, because he hasn't played there very much. But when you get into a comfortable situation, I can tell you one thing, that I had a real stud defensive shortstop last year, and I lost that player, and it has caused, a pretty big hole when you don't get that consistent play at shortstop that you're used to getting. And, there's 2 or 3 positions defensively that over the years as a manager that I've come to very much value, like everybody else: the catcher, the shortstop, the center fielder, defense up the middle in general, and a first baseman. Those guys having excellent defenders at those positions changes the dynamic of your whole team defensively. A couple of years ago when I was with the Panthers, we had Liam Wilson, who not only was a very good hitter, a power hitter, but he went 2 consecutive years without making an error, which is, and he picks everything in the dirt. He makes the rest of your infield better because it doesn't seem to matter where they throw it over. He catches the ball. Right. He's such a good mechanical first baseman that he eliminated throwing errors. He didn't just not make errors himself. He also eliminated errors from your other infielders on throws that would have been throwing errors. So, there's always checks and balances to moving guys around. It's good to have a...
Bateman will send that one up towards the second baseman. Nicely played, by the shortstop, as that one goes wild behind him. Lucas Bateman gets a gift there from the shortstop. He did a great job to field that, but Nickel misses the throw to first.
Well, a very mobile play, went right up the middle over second base, and all you can do is do a 360 and try and find the right release point to get to first base. In fairness, I'm not sure he gets Bateman, who runs real well for a bigger fella. But great range there, knocking that ball down. I didn't think he had a chance to pick that up.
Well, only fitting Bateman gets on base there after we talk about him all that defensive.
Well, and that's the thing with Bateman you want in the lineup, right? I mean,
of course.
He may not be a top 3 guy, but he's certainly in the next 3.
Doesn't matter where you put him. You just got to put him somewhere. He's got great value with the bat. He'll go as well. He's got value on the base pass and the wild throw behind. The pressure seemed to get to Salcedo Reyes with the base runner going. Misses his catcher Hernandez, and now Bateman on second base.
And that pitch to Bateman was about the only mistake we've seen Salcedo make, to be honest with you. He had Bateman in a good situation, and then just got way too much of the plate and was allowed Bateman to ring one up the middle there. And now I think that's only the second ball he's thrown back to the fence in this game.
It's also the second steal of the day for the Brantford Red Sox. And what do you know? Both by Lucas Bateman. Here's the 1-0 to Vaplin. That one bat tipped off back and foul behind him. 1-1.
Not sure that's the pitch he wants to swing at with no strikes on him. That was probably not in the zone, low and away. Not much you can do with that pitch. Maybe hit it the other way to advance the runner, but it's 6-0 in the 5th. You're not looking to advance runners. Brantford needs base runners here. Try and get a crooked number this inning.
1-1.
Nice.
That one well in the zone. Nice pitch off speed there. Fools to Vaplin for 1-2.
Nice change up there. He hasn't thrown many of those. Excuse me.
So Salcedo Reyes, he's got Bateman behind him. He's got DeVaplin in front of him, down 1-2. LaFave on deck. Doing a lot of checks at Bateman. That one shot back off foul right to Lucas LaFave. Nice little bare hand grab there, and the 1-2 count will remain.
He's on the defensive here, but you got to make sure you at the very least put the ball in play and move the runner along. Ideally, we want to get on base, but like I said, at least have a productive out.
The sun been very on and off this inning. Something to consider. Bateman goes easy lead off, and he'll make it safely to third base as DeVaplin sat down there on strikes. That was a crazy lead, and nobody seemed to have any urgency. It was almost as if they had mentally given it up to Bateman already.
Yeah, he got a great jump there because, I know, as I mentioned a couple innings ago, Saucedo is not really checking his runners. He's not mixing up the timing in which he releases the ball. So the good news for him is that he's not giving up very many base runners, but Brantford should be able to. If they get, that's unfortunate. If Brantford can get more base runners on, they should be able to run on him. I think we've got some action now in the Hamilton bullpen.
So that ball off the handle there of the bat for Lucas Lefebvre. He'll find himself down 0-1. Takioka warming up in the batter's circle. And Bateman on third. Gonna halt that play. Gonna do a quick equipment check on the front left shin pad for Hernandez. And you got to remember, Bateman now on third off of 2 steals. So his legging these balls out has been, or legging these at-bats out has been crucial here. But remember, this all started with that misplay by Nickel. And the 0-1 to Lefebvre. That one up and over the head of Tanner Rempel. If he can track that one down. Well out there, off towards the parking lot. No real threats on a car yet that I've seen.
Well, not many cars down there, and primarily because there's no game going on the diamond beside us, so I was able to find a nice spot under a tree in the main lot there, so my truck is safe for one more game. So with an 0-2 count here, you've got Lefebvre, your number 9 hitter. You must put the ball in play. You see the infield is back. They're playing right back on the grass. Get on top of a baseball, and you've got an easy RBI here.
Oh, gets over him. Weird moment there. Sounded like not catcher interference necessarily, but there was another sound in there.
That's foul
with the bat.
tip there. Yep.
Impressive there. It was similar to that other one with the barrel when the ball hits or catches right off the handle of the bat there. It's got a weird noise to it, and then the way Lefebvre keeps his hands up high on the bat, it always sounds to me like he might go knuckle on ball. But either way, out on that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, he couldn't lay off the high fastball there. That ball was up around the letters, and with 2 strikes, he was unable to hold off on it. So now you need Takioka to be clutch here.
That went in for strike 1, and remember, Takioka, so rare he doesn't have a game where he's on base, and more than often it's with hits, hitting .450 on the year. And if he can get on base, 12 stolen bases on the season, he'll be a threat on the base pass for Salcedo. The 0-1. That one fouled up and over, back towards that third base grandstand. Takes a bounce and luckily just misses a couple fans sitting out there on third.
So yeah, Brantford really needs Takioka to step up here. You got right man, right spot, as we like to say in this game.
0-2, 2 outs.
And I agree, if he can get on, he should have no problem stealing a base.
That one well off and wide. Now 1-2 count. Bateman still on third.
It's a lefty warming up in the Hamilton bullpen. Can't see who it is from here, but you would think that he might be coming in to face Paulus.
That one
there it is.
Fouled off, or chopped off towards the second base position. It'll get by, and in comes the run. Takioka's on the board with a hit. Bateman's in with a run, and the lead now only 6-1 Hamilton.
Well, so Saucedo Reyes made a mistake there. He got way too much of the plate, and a guy who hits .450 had no problem taking advantage of that. He ropes one into center field up the middle. No chance for Reyes Cruz to make a play to his right. And so looks like they're going to let Saucedo Reyes face the lefty. Now, it's interesting they've got a lefty warming up in the pen, but I'm not sure there's another lefty in the Brantford lineup after the first 2.
And there goes Takioka, safe on second base. You called it. 13th steal on the year.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if he steals third. Saucedo is one of the easier pitchers to run on that I've seen in this league.
We'll count the leadoff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Probably shouldn't count the steps of Takioka, one of the smaller guys. But
and he's got that unique lineup where he goes right into the grass, too, I remember.
Yes, he does. Huge leadoff.
Well, he's finally got the pitcher's attention there. That's the first time he's hesitated throwing the ball to home plate.
It looked like Cassidy Watts' warm-up, the jumping around. He was just jumping around, almost waving at him
well,
like,
hey. That's what you want to do. That's how you want to get timing up, because you want to be moving when you think, if you think you got a good read on his timing, you want to be moving when you think in your mental clock where that hits.
1-0 to Palos becomes a 1-1. That one well in on the zone, and Takioka taking such a big lead. Our camera angle can't even pick him up.
Nice pitch there. Caught the black on the outside at the knees.
So here's the 2-1 to Ethan Palos. 2 outs in the inning. There goes Takioka. Not even a try. Second steal, back-to-back. 14th of the season for Ren Takioka. And I know you're up by a pretty decent margin. I know you just want to focus on the batters. Salcedo Reyes has been dealing well, but really to just give him two to Bateman, not even any real resistance.
Well, you know what? It's an interesting point, interesting talking point.
3-1 becomes 4-1. Now Palos on base, and this Brantford Red Sox plate discipline starting to come through here in the 5th inning. 2 guys now on the corners.
Now you've got an interesting situation where the meat of the Brantford lineup is coming, and and they're all righties, and you've got a lefty that is ready to go, and a right-hander, your starter, is clearly flagging. So will they pull him here? We're going to have a visit to the mound. It's a situation where you would think he's done, but again, you've got the meat of the order coming up, all right-handed, and you got a lefty that's ready to go. So you had your righty face the lefties. Are you going to bring in your lefty to face the righties? Let's see.
74 pitches to this point here for Salcedo Reyes.
But he hasn't thrown a lot, so he's not a standard guy who's going to throw 100 pitches. Plus, as we mentioned about the Heat, 74 feels like 94. Well, he's going to let him go.
Second time today we've seen a starting pitcher vouch for themselves, stay on the mound. And again, this should speak even more to Armitage. The fact that, again, 102 in this heat, probably easier to, comparable in terms of expended energy to 130 on a normal day.
Right. So probably the message here, at least it would have been if that was me out there visiting, is that don't let this guy extend his arms. Use that good live two-seamer to run in on his hands and try and get him to roll over on something, or inside out him as you did in the first inning. Now the question is, did he mention anything about how easy it is to run off him?
Oh. That one well hit off towards the third base side. Comes down to the left fielder. 1 run scores. The other holds on second. It's a stand-up single. Cassidy Watt cuts the lead to 4.
Well, we've got an interesting situation here because now the lefty's coming in on the second visit. Bernardo's coming out to pull him, and they'll go with the lefty, and they've got Ortega, a mashing right-handed bat.
Yep.
So this is a really advantageous matchup for Brantford. Can they take advantage of it? Because don't forget, too, that after Ortega is a red-hot hitting Brody Black as well. So a situation here where one ball to the gap could get Brantford right back into this game.
All right, here comes the reliever to relieve Carwin Salcedo Reyes. Really good game today. Right now, starting to get away from him. The Heat just could have hit that wall, could be catching up, but run prevention day did pretty well. Again, those first pitch groundouts, keeping his pitch count as low as he did early in the ball game, that was huge for this Cardinals side.
Well, that was 4 stellar innings, followed up by really an inning that he's kind of created himself by how easy it is to run on him. 4 stolen bases. Keep in mind, they've got 2 runs in on 2 singles.
Right.
Right? They had. So at the end of the day, you got the walk and stole second and third, then a single, stole second and third, then a single. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
yeah.
Now you've got a situation where you've got an opportunity for Ortega to, get an extra base hit, and all of a sudden Brantford is right back in this game.
So when we return, it's going to be Palos at third, and then it's going to be the newly singled Cassidy Watt on first base. So runners on the corners. Watt, not a ton of speed upside. He's probably going to get about as many as the hitter, if we are able to see a hit here from Chris Ortega or Brody Black. Palos, next chance he's able to get will come in pretty easily. So 6-2 now the gap, and this is really the fulcrum inning, where the whole game can really change for the Brantford Red Sox for the better or for the worse. And it looks very similar to what we saw on Friday, because that Friday game, didn't have you here for it, Brian, but this offense exploded. It was a lot of extra base hits, 5 runs in that 5th inning, more than at any point Barry had that entire game. But the problem was, you said it earlier, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Barry had a run in every inning but the 7th. 16-5 was the score there. And today, one big inning is good. I hope this keeps up. I hope this momentum keeps going. But then it's all right. Take what you learned from this, figure out the relievers, and then go out and do it again to try to close up this lead.
Agreed, 100%. And so you got an opportunity now where all you need to do is to a gapper here will possibly score 2 runs, and then suddenly it's a 6-4 ball game. So you've got the lefty-righty matchup. You got your number 1 RBI guy at the plate. So if there's ever a situation where you got to get back in this game, it's right now. So, and again, 2 out clutch hits. They've had 2 already. They need 1 more right here.
IBL All-Star Chris Ortega. That one struck on the very first pitch of the at-bat. That'll bloop down. Yes, it will. Comes down. 1 run scores. Watt gets all the way to third, and Chris Ortega, RBI single. First pitch of the day by Chris Bellato out of the bullpen for the Cardinals, and it's a hit for Ortega.
Well, that wasn't a terrible pitch. He kind of muscled it in on him there, but he loaded in on him, but then it muscled out on him. So Bellato is a guy who hasn't pitched a lot. He's got about 10 innings pitched this season. ERA just a little bit over 5. Those runs are going to be charged, at least that one, and the next one will be charged to the starter. So now you got the hot-hitting Brody Black, and again, 1 gapper away from being right there.
There's Brody Black as he watches one go well outside the zone. 1-0 count here, and the only thing Chris Ortega is better at than studio interviews on a microphone like he got last Friday with me is scoring base runners. That was 27 on the season.
He's having a great year. Now the difference now is that with the lefty, he's going to be much more difficult to run on. They may try it yet anyways.
He'll try the pickoff, but Ortega easily there in time. Still runners on the corners for Brody Black. Yeah, Bellato 7 walks, 9 strikeouts. So.
Oh, that's a lot of walks for 10 innings. So it's a case where you just got to be real patient and wait for your pitch here.
That one well horizontally, but high vertically. Second ball. Trying to challenge him high there on Brody Black, which if you miss your spot there up high, a guy with 4 home runs is going to make you pay.
So over here, Black is thinking 1 pitch, 1 spot.
Oh, I thought that was the spot. Just missed it off the barrel.
Yep.
Grounds down for 2-1.
He thought he got the pitch he was looking for, and he hacked at it. Like I say, that's a situation when you're 2-0 up with a guy who walks a lot. You got to just pitch like what I like to say, a pie plate size area and a certain pitch. I want a fastball. I want it inside at the thigh or whatever it is you're after, whatever your thing is. Then that's, if you get it, then you take a rip at it. He doesn't have huge velo so that you can lay off a pitch that you're not liking and still feel confident to put the ball in play on the next one.
2-1. Black hits that one pretty well out to right field. Can the fielder get to it?
Look out.
Can't spot it, does catch it. That could have been crucial. Lost it in the light, finds it at the end. Textbook there by Dominguez to settle back under it, and that'll end what could have been an even bigger inning.
That was a really odd path. He spun himself around and then ended up catching the ball over his back shoulder. So that was, it looked like he was having trouble tracking it. He was very lackadaisical about it. At the end of the day, you know, most guys in this league, if it gets within their range, they can haul it in. But it was just a really weird path that made you think that he's having trouble with it.
Well, let's head away and take a break here. We'll hear a word from our partners here at the Brantford Red Sox in just a moment. We thank you for joining us on a very hot, very lovely Sunday afternoon of IBL baseball. When we come back, we'll give you the out-of-towns here around the rest of the IBL. We'll see you in just a moment after a quick word from our partners.
Hard line drive up the middle. Whoa! Lindor out of nowhere. How did he do that?
That Lindor can play. I don't know about that hair. And don't get me started on those gloves.
I don't know. I kind of like it.
It's time for a revolution. The Ref 1X by Ronald.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
And welcome back to Arnold Anderson Stadium in Brantford, Ontario for some IBL Sunday afternoon action. We'll take a look here around the league in the IBL. We'll check a look at our out-of-towns as two other games had the same start time as us. You see on the bottom there that Barrie Baycats Kitchener Panthers game at Jack Couch Park. We'll go live at 5 o'clock on their IBL YouTube channel for the Panthers. But two scores thus far. London Majors lead the Toronto Maple Leafs at Christie Pitts 8-3 now. Just turned over the bottom of the 6th inning in that contest. Across the league, two of the top three teams in the IBL, the Welland Jackfish and the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. See there on your graphic, that game just got tied up 1-1 by the Barnstormers in their bottom half of the third. So two big contests, the London Majors Welland Jackfish and Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, all in the contest for the top three spots in the IBL standings. Although, to be fair to the Welland Jackfish, they've been incredible, up over 100 in their positive run differential column. They pretty solidly look like they got a handle on that one seed, but big game against Chatham-Kent there on the road. That could start to get them close to locking up the one seed in the league there towards the later steps of this season.
Well, one thing that happens in a regular season with a dominant team, and this is not baseball-centric, this happens to a lot of teams, baseball, basketball, hockey. When you have a team that gets out to a big lead early, they kind of get into cruise control. And sometimes they're not quite as sharp, or maybe they're getting guys days off or what have you. And so, when Welland puts out their best 8 and their pitching staff, we know they're a force to be reckoned with.
That one well struck on the very first pitch by new reliever Carter Bettis. Comes down, the catch made there by Ethan Palos, but Carter Bettis has subbed into the game and gets a quick first pitch out to open up his 6th inning.
Batting for the Cardinals, number 32, Brandon Nickel.
So that was Tommy Reyes Cruz. That was his 4th AB of the day. Was coming off 2 walks to that point, but chooses to swing on the very first pitch and narrowly misses the outfield right fence. Here's Brandon Nickel.
And Carter Bettis is a guy I know well. I faced him when he pitched for the Kitchener Panthers when he was 22U. He pitched for them in the Limbs a couple of years ago. Very, very good junior pitcher. Throws hard, got a good breaking ball, and a solid changeup too. Very consistent pitcher. Throws a lot of strikes as a rule.
Misstatement on that one. He's got a 7.61 ERA on the season. 6 walks to 8 strikeouts. That one right down the middle, but a little bit too high. 2-0 now the count. Nickel coming off 2 consecutive singles. Not a guy you want to give a hitter's count to. Good power on that third pitch, but once again, a little bit too high, this time on the inside shoulder, 3-0. Tyler Duncan now on deck for the Hamilton Cardinals. 3-0. 4-0 there. That's the walk for Nickel on 4 pitches. First of the day, and in total, that's the 5th allowed by a Brantford Red Sox pitcher today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's been a walk pretty much for every inning here. So, of the 5 or 6 runs that they've got, I believe 3 or 4 were scored as a result of walks. So it just highlights how important. Keep in mind, this is a hitter's league. And, finding a pitcher who is dominant is so rare. There's only about a half dozen who you could consider to be dominant starting pitchers consistently night after night. So you have to throw strikes to these guys and make sure that they are putting the ball in play, because if you're going to make, if you go and get Nickel out, you got a guy like Tyler Duncan coming on with 2 out and nobody on. You can go ahead and throw at him. If he hits you, takes you out of the yard or something, it's a 1-run shot. You just got to really avoid those multi-run innings, because like I say, this is a hitter's league and you're generally going to score 3 or 4 a night at least. You just can't give up the 8 a game that the Brantford pitching staff is currently doing. Part of the reason why they're giving up that many is because they're allowing just too many free passes.
Chance here for Bettis' first strikeout of the day. He's got Tyler Duncan down 0-2. Swings and fouls that one off, and 2 big swings and misses from Duncan. Good velocity off the arm of Bettis. Just hasn't quite had the location to find himself in good counts. Finally does against one of the best in the IBL.
Yeah, he's still very young, Carter Bettis, and he will get better. He's just got to learn a little bit more about location and pitching sequencing, and I'm sure he's picking a lot of that up through the organization. Heads up.
Hits the batter. It's 0-2. The last thing you want to do is give him a free pass on one pitch, and luckily that missed the face of Tyler Duncan, but runners now on first and second, and they're 2 of the best. Nickel on second, Duncan on first.
Yeah, that's the manager's nightmare there, where you get a guy up 0-2 and throw a pitch so far inside you hit him. So
you saw there Duncan and Nickel, third base coach there for the Hamilton Cardinals, really chatting with them, really trying to give them some tips and tricks here as Bettles will now face Dominguez. Dominguez hits that one up high in the air, not very deep. Palos comes in to range for it. Brody Black will be the man to make the catch in the end. He'll hold the runners at first and second, first out of the inning.
Well, obviously a huge out there, especially with the big man Williams coming up next. You just got 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th, and then, get that first runner on, and then get Duncan 0-2, and then hit him, and you really put yourself behind the 8 ball here. So I almost feel like I can't wear sunglasses while I watch Josh Williams hit, because the exit velo is so hard. It's hard to pick up the ball when he hits it.
First pitch here from Bettis. That one wide off the plate. And you said it earlier, I don't think we picked it up, but you made the great comment about, surprised anybody in the arena and anybody in the park needs shade, considering Josh Williams really covers a lot of vertical ground. The 1-0, now the 1-1 does clip the outside corner there. Good job by Bettis.
Yeah, that's one thing that's, one nice thing about being a catcher. When Josh Williams comes up, you don't have to worry about the sun anymore.
That one sent back. Fouled back, caught the very tip of the bat. 1-2. Now going to be the count for Williams, looking to avoid his second K of the day.
Good spot there. He got it up and out over the edge of the plate. Yeah, I felt like there was 2 out because Cruz led off the inning, right?
Yeah, fly out and then a walk from Nickel,
Okay.
hit by
There's
pitch
only
for
one out
Duncan.
on the
Dominguez
scoreboard.
just flew out as well. So that was Seagull out there in right field. That one set right at the shortstop. Ortega, quick misplay. Does get it to first in time, though. Ortega does a good job to avenge that little misplay with the glove, and that'll end the inning.
Well, just for you younger players that are out there watching, really smart move by Brandon Nickel, who just sort of ran over top of the ground ball. He was on second before he could have gotten a better jump, but he waited for the ball to show up so that he could jump over the ball to do anything to distract the shortstop. And it turned out it worked out because the ball bounced away. Nice job by Ortega to stick with it, get on the ball quickly. Realize one thing that you have to be aware of as an infielder: know your runners. If you've got a leadoff hitter like a Reyes Cruz and you bobble that ball, you don't even waste your time throwing it. But the one thing about being a guy as big as Williams is he doesn't run really well, and so you've got an extra half second to get the ball over to first base. So really smart defending by Ortega. It's not always about the physical side, it's the mental side as well, being aware that Josh Williams doesn't move as well. If I bobble this ball, I've got time to pick it up and throw it to first base.
Well, the Seagulls out there in right field have left the field, so have the Cardinals, and that'll bring up the Brantford Red Sox offense to face off against, I believe, Bowato, who will remain in the game after his appearance in the 5th.
Actually, I hate to correct you, but that's a right-handed pitcher in now, so Bowato's a lefty.
You are absolutely right. We'll get you an ID here on the new pitcher for the Hamilton Cardinals. We will check the posted roster here for the Cardinals, and well, we have that momentum there. That 5th inning there, Brian, really started to get it going the same way we saw on Friday. But that Friday game, once they had that 5-run 5th inning, it was over. They couldn't find it again. Important to establish that continuity. Your part of your inning that was successful there last time by, which is really that 1 to 5 part of the lineup, with all the way through. It was a single, then 2 steals, a walk, a single, an RBI single. That 1 to 4 part of the lineup has really started to get it going tonight. Now you got to, kind of be the microwave for your teammates. If you go back to the dugout, you just had a big inning to open it up. You're talking to your guys later in the inning and saying, all right, you got to keep this thing going. These later lineup guys really got to pick up their weight, and I think Bateman could definitely do so. Torreson's always got a big clutch hit in him, but if I'm Duvaplin and Lefebvre, this is a big time to get my first hit of the day.
I agree 100% that you get that even when you look further down the lineup and through the game. If you can get a couple guys on here and turn over the lineup, that way the top of your order will get 2 more at-bats instead of just 1. And the possibility of, if you recall the last time I was here with the Kitchener game, they got some guys on in the bottom of the order in the 8th, which got the top of the order up in the 9th, and Ortega had an opportunity to, with down 3, came up as a tying run and had a big at-bat in that inning. So, you just never know in this game. So it's important for everybody to come up and have a real good at-bat.
We'll give a warm Brantford welcome to Casey Howard. First pitch was in for a strike. This one now chopped off to third base. Easy fielding play to Rempel. Nice textbook throw there by Jaden Brown at the bottom of the offensive lineup, but making good plays there on defense.
And a good pitch there to get it up and in, much to the same as Saucedo Reyes was doing earlier in the game, getting up and in on those right-handed hitters and getting them get soft contact, which has kept the left side of the infield fairly busy today.
Here's Bateman.
He's had a good game today.
He absolutely has 2 steals. That one fouled straight back, 0-1. Interesting day for him, too. Hit by pitch, then stole in the 2nd, then had an error in the 5th that allowed him to score on to first, and then he stole 2nd.
I will say, in defense of...
That one hit well by Bateman. Up to the gap and left and center. 1 hop, 2 hop. Center fielder plays it, but Bateman back on base with a single. Chance for another steal on his ledger.
Another good AB by Bateman. I do have to say, though, I felt like it was a stern scoring decision made, giving Nickel an error there. He had to go right up behind second base, made a 360 spin. I kind of felt like Bateman might have run that out. I would have probably, if I was official, which I am not, for the record, I might have given him a hit there instead of an error to Nickel.
Levapolin's up now. Watches his first one go by for a strike. And at that point that you make, we've talked about that a lot this season. Those rangy, athletic shortstops get called for errors that most other players wouldn't even have the chance at.
Exactly. And so the reason, generally shortstops will lead the team in errors because they get the most chances.
That one well in, finds its way back with a little bit of horizontal break. Devapolin's down 0-2.
One thing that is consistent about this league is that shortstops from every team make plays they got no business making. That's why they're playing shortstop in the IBL.
0-2 to Devapolin. That one hit up and out towards the right field first base line. It's going to come down, though, right into the bullpen of the Hamilton Cardinals. This count will remain 0-2. So we got you some numbers here for our new pitcher, Howard. He's come in here. Bouyer Howard, his full name, but he's Howard on the lineup card. He's given up 14 earned runs in 4 innings, good for a 29 ERA.
Interesting choice to bring in here in a 6-3 game.
Swing and a miss, though. His 3rd strikeout of the season. Gets it against Devapolin, his 3rd K of the day.
But he does throw hard, and he managed to get Devapolin to swing at a pitch that was clearly up and off the plate. So unfortunately, an uncompetitive at-bat for Devapolin.
5 at-bats for the bottom 2 hitters in the Brantford lineup, 5 strikeouts. That one, though, by Lefebvre, well hit out towards right field. He'll track under it nicely. A pretty good bat and barrel, but Dominguez will easily make that one.
Red Sox with 1 hit, no runs, and no errors for the Hamilton.
It's a rough time to leave a runner there on base. You had Takioka behind you. You got to feel pretty good if you get guys reasonably in scoring position and he comes up to the bag. And we've talked about it. The whole point of the season's been kind of a roller coaster. Brantford was trying to get their offense down. That was the thing. Well, we got to figure our offense out, be consistent there. We had Schmarter for a long time this year below that 100 batting average. Well, we had to replace them. So we did. We brought in Lefebvre. We made some more substitutions, took out Jeremy Veilleux, and then Cassidy Watt started hitting RBIs, and we thought, oh, we're in a good spot offensively. Let's figure the defense out. And I think we're back in that position where the bottom of the order, I know we're trying to cycle guys. I know guys are playing on a busy weekend, but Devapolin and Lefebvre, they really got to step up with guys like Vinicio back there in the lineup. Veilleux, I know he hasn't quite had that production, but he's a water finds his level guy where he's such a big name in the league. He's got so many tools. He hits well in batting practice, just has had a rough year. I think you got to kind of retweak again. And if you feel confident, as they seem to in the flexibility of their defense, a lot of guys that are toolsy and can play everywhere, I think you got to do a little bit more tweaking with the offense, because that's 2 innings now to this point, Brian, that if you just kept the momentum up you built with the 1-7, if the 8 and 9 guys could just, put a single out there, put a blooper, even score on an error, legging it out, we would be a little bit further in this game, and that's the case of a lot of games like today.
Well, and you do have to get contributions from the bottom of the order. That is for sure. Contributions may come, as I mentioned earlier, not necessarily in scoring a run, but if you got six-hitter, for example, leading off, if two of those guys get on base, you get through 5 hitters, boom, you got the top of the order up the next inning.
Right.
So I guess the positive takeaway, the positive spin on that inning that just finished up is that now you've got the top of the order coming up for the bottom of the 7th. So if they can do some damage, score a run, couple of guys get on, they will get another opportunity in the 9th. And so that's what I was referring to earlier, is that you just got to get enough guys on so at least the top of your order gets 2 more hacks at it. So, Takioka, your top average guy, is leading off. If anybody gets on base, he'll get an at-bat in the 9th inning. And right now you're at 6-3 because we have to remember what's going on in the 9th inning when you play Hamilton. When you're within 3 runs, that's a save situation, and they've got Fernando Rodney, former major leaguer, who is nasty, who has 90-plus fastball and an absolutely filthy changeup. So now you better get on them. If you're going to get them, you better get them earlier in the 9th inning because it sure is tough to get them when Rodney comes out.
Bettis back for his 2nd inning of work. First pitch for him in for a ball against Nico Kakados. 2 singles and a strikeout to this point.
And don't forget in the 8th inning they can bring in Hospital as well, who's got 18 or 19 strikeouts in 13 innings pitched. I'm not sure he's given up a run yet.
I think they call him Hospital because he puts the other team's offense on life support. He is not a guy you want to face any earlier than the 8th inning.
Nice. Very nice.
So Kakados looking at 2-0 here. That one shot back, fouled off towards the back fence, 2-1. Tanner Rempel now, the man on deck. 1 for 3 today. Sun's starting to set a little bit. The heat easing up. The 2-1 from Bettis. That one high and over the head of Bateman, but he does snag it with the glove, 3-1.
Yeah, some unfriendly clouds coming in over left field there.
Now this game saw rain in the morning. That's why the start time was pushed back a little bit. Almost didn't happen. A lot of storms in the area. 3-1, 4-1. Too high. There's the walk on 5 pitches to Nico Kakados.
For the Cardinals, number 44, Tanner Rempel.
So I believe, you'll have to correct me, you've been in this league longer than I have. I believe for rain stoppage, the game is official after 5 innings. I believe it would be go down as an official score. Yep. So that's another thing you're playing against. Not only the threat of the Brantford closing bullpen, but also the threat of the weather. As those clouds, you can't see them from your camera angle, but they are looming out there just past center field.
Not going to lie, we won't be disappointed to get rid of the sunshine, but get a couple more innings in before the rain hits.
Just a bit of a discussion, bit of a reset here. Bettis still in. This will be Tanner Rempel, the first baseman. Pinch runner has come in here. We'll get you an idea on them for the Cardinals, but that'll be Nico Kakados. Out of the game. That one sent by the pitcher. Has a chance of the double. Steps on second. Gets it to first. Textbook play there by Chris Ortega. Looks like he spent his whole life at shortstop, but to my knowledge, primarily a third and first base guy. So Rempel grounds into a double play. That'll bring up Jomar Hernandez with 2 outs now on the scoreboard. So you start to speed a ball game up when the weather becomes a factor. Get ground ball double plays like that one.
Absolutely.
Second double play of the day here on defense for the Red Sox. Important stat I want to know, as a team, 31 double plays hit into this season for the Red Sox, only 12 for the Hamilton Cardinals.
Well, if you're looking for the definition of a tailor-made double play ball, it's a slow roller over the mound that landed at second base just when the shortstop showed there. As he caught the ball, he stepped on second. He didn't even need to throw the ball right away. He took 2 steps, almost did a crow hop on his way to first base and still threw out the runner by 10 feet.
That one in for a strike. Bettis evens up the count against Jomar Hernandez, 1-1.
Hernandez has seemed to have made a stink about almost every strike that was called on him today, which is interesting for a guy who's been behind the plate for all of that. Don't get me wrong, catchers know the strike zone as good as anybody. And that's what happens when you make a stink, is that you sometimes risk, shall we say, the other team getting a call after you've made kind of a stink about the previous call.
I think he can consider a career in legal consultation, but right now he's down 1-2. So I would focus on the focus on the bat here, to be fair. Double the home runs to the strikeouts for him on the season.
Suffice to say, anything close, you best be swinging at it.
2-2-2 reads the scoreboard. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hernandez versus Bettis.
Real opportunity to get out of an inning quickly here for Bettis if he can throw a good pitch.
Oh, that one very close. That might get some exception from a couple fans here in the Brantford crowd, and Hernandez isn't going to argue that one. Full count.
Bateman wanted that one, that's for sure. But it looked out to me. But like I said, with the way this at bat had gone, it wouldn't have surprised me to see him get rung up there. Yep.
Rings him up, Carter Bettis. What a time to get your first strikeout of the inning, and Hernandez, unsurprisingly, has a few words for the home plate umpire.
1 walk, no runs, and no errors for the Brantford Red Sox.
I feel it's kind of rare. Maybe I'm wrong here. As a catcher, to be that chatty on offense, because you got to feel that you got to be working with the guy on defense back the other way. Usually, you don't see them getting too naughty.
Well, the other thing too is that there's an old adage, and I remember from my umpiring days that there are certain pitchers that catchers get that everybody else doesn't get. There was always the accusation of the catcher when that pitch comes in outside at the knees. Anybody else you'd probably call a strike, an inch off the plate, 2 inches off the plate, you call that a strike. But because it's a catcher and you got to work with the guy in the bottom of the inning, generally you won't call that a strike. That is not necessarily the case anymore or necessarily with this umpire, but I'm just saying it's a thing. It has been a thing over the years.
This is why we love having you here, Brian. You provide a new, from both the former player, former manager, and former umpire perspective, you kind of got every lens there, and the little behind-the-scenes social conversations, that social aspect of baseball is what we miss as fans.
Well, for lack of a better term, a home plate umpire and a catcher are co-workers. And so you could be a jerk, but you got to work with the guy. I mean, and when I mean work together, we're working 2 feet apart for the better part of 3 hours. And so, you have a job as the umpire, and the catcher has a job as well, and you both have to do your job, but at the end of the day, you have to coexist as well. And so, generally there are a lot of conversations. Now, in this league, there are some Latino catchers that don't speak a lot of English. Maybe there isn't a lot of conversation, but I give you an example like Damon Topley, who was in the league for about 100 years. When I was umpiring in the IBL, he was playing with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I know Damon Topley all the way back to his junior days when I was umpiring in Stratford, umpiring 22U, and he was a catcher playing for Stratford before he even played in the IBL. And so I got to know Damon Topley very well, and we would have a lot of extended conversations. I will say he's one of the best defensive catchers that I ever worked behind.
New arm in here for the Cardinals. That's Caleb Sorowski, who gets a first pitch strike to Ren Takioka.
But it was a full conversation about everything under the sun, whether it was baseball or family or, the trip that, his time at the bar the night before when, remember these guys are 19, 20 years old when they're playing that age. So, they're people first and ball players second. And so you get to know the person, and that helps you just get along with guys.
Swinging strike just put Takioka down 0-2. And that one a little bit too high for strike 3. It'll be 1-2 here from Sorowski. So a lot of rotation here for the Cardinals. This is their 4th pitcher of the day, and Salcedo Reyes was still in the ballgame as of 2 innings ago. Oh, good movement on that one horizontally. Oh, both the pitcher and the second baseman had a range on it with the glove, and they couldn't make the play. That's going to be Takioka on first.
That was interesting because Sorowski almost short-armed that. Like it went back up the middle, and he falls off to the first base side on his follow-through. And he got the glove up, but it almost like he pulled the glove back down because he wanted to let his second baseman make the play. He even looked back at the catcher with a smile on his face afterwards. Like he says, I probably could have had that, but I didn't get it because I thought there was somebody more qualified to field the ground ball behind me, but it was more up the middle than I thought it was. So.
Oh, Palos will go bunt here. He'll put it just foul, but he's now got Takioka in front of him on base. Here, there's a question that comes to me. I personally wouldn't think of many reasons you wouldn't if you think you got range on it as a pitcher. Just got a glove on it. Is there a reason to leave it back for your second baseman?
Well, like I say, as I said, tongue in cheek, someone more qualified to field a ground ball than me sitting behind me.
True.
But clearly the ball was more up the middle than he thought it was, because it looked like some guys are hesitant to play the difficult play because they might not field it cleanly, and then the guy will definitely get on base.
Oh, tried the back pick there on Ren Takioka, but he's back there in plenty of time. We get you some numbers here for Caleb Sorowski to this point in the year. Does have a 1-0 record. And then a pretty solid ERA for the guy this year, 6.75, the one I'm reading. 6.07 there on the board, so that may be newer than my numbers. And
he's got some fans here in the park, too. A couple of fans sitting right in front of us wearing their Sorowski jerseys. I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest it's family.
I was wondering, now Takioka got a bigger clap than I thought than usual, but no, it was Caleb Sorowski coming to the ball game. He's up 1-2 against one of the best on the Brantford lineup. There goes Takioka, hit and run opportunity as nobody will play that one. Rempel let it go, and it'll roll all the way to right field. Ethan Palos puts runners on the corners with a base hit.
See, and that's great execution right there.
There's a lot of these plays that I think Hamilton has been pretty textbook when they've been able to go out of their way, jump up for a ball, make an easy throw. But the actual fielding range, when a ball gets in their vicinity, a lot of guys just not reaching for it the way you'd expect, and as a result, a couple borderline errors on a couple different plays.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. I thought the same thing. I thought the first baseman.
Rempel had it.
I thought he got a real poor jump off that ball there. Again, almost looking like he thought the second baseman was going to play it.
Castiwacho's bunt gets the bunt down. Sack bunt, perfect by the catcher. Hey, he's punched out, but Takioka comes home. 6-4 now the deficit. 2-run gap here for the Brantford Red Sox. Starting to bring this one back, and a smart play by Cassidy Watt.
And a really good play by Sorowski defensively. That was a really difficult play. He's got to take the ball on the dead run. He's got to turn on a 45-degree angle to take the lob from the first baseman. And was able to catch the ball and then turn back around and find the base to step on it and get the out. So really good defensive play by Sorowski there. I actually, when he bunted that, I thought for sure that was a hit.
Well, if Ortega can barrel this one, if he can put it up there for his 6th home run of the season, it could tie the ball game. He might
like
do
that?
so here.
You mean like
what
that?
A call. Left field comes down just short of the maple tree. Almost the biggest hit of the day, and the second biggest of his year against the Cardinals. Chris Ortega heard me, and he just missed pay dirt in the left field area.
He just got it off the end of the bat. It was a hanging breaking ball. It was right down Broadway, and he hammered it, but he just got it. I think he was just out in front of it a little bit here. So in the end, you just want to, and he's shaking his head like, oh, man, I had that, and I just missed it off the end of the bat. So now here's a real opportunity for Brody Black. He really needs to just knuckle down and get a ball through the infield here, score this runner to get it to a 1-run lead. Because like I said, keep in mind the meat and the potatoes of this Hamilton bullpen are going to be coming out in the 8th and 9th innings.
First pitch in for a ball here to Black. Those clouds continue to crawl over the outfield, getting further and further over the top here at Arnold Anderson. Sorowski still the man on the mound. Checking second. That one back of Black, right in the back. Number 4 will take his free walk off to first base. Caleb Sorowski just looked like out of the hand, came a little bit loose. HBP for his 3rd batter of the inning. So here's Torreson, 1 runner in scoring position. Guys on 1st and 2nd. And remember, he had a game-winning home run earlier this year. I bring it up a lot, but that Father's Day hit, arguably the best moment of the season in a home Brantford Red Sox game. And now Torreson has a chance to do it again. It'll be the first mound visit for Caleb Sorowski.
I think what we've got here is a little bit of a stall tactic that set new land speed records for longest time. It took a pitching coach to get to the mound. So
coming in.
I would have to say this is probably the last batter Sorowski will face.
All righty, let's take a brief moment while we reset. Let's look at your IBL standings here to get an idea of what this game could mean for the season as a whole. Remember, Brantford 6-20 coming into today. The Hamilton Cardinals 13-12. This would put them one back of the CK Barnstormers for 4th in the league. And of course, Brantford 3 games down on the Panthers, who will play later today at home against Barrie. Soroski's back, 1-0 against Matt Torreson. That one chopped down to the first base area. Rempel should be able to leg it out. We'll toss it to Soroski. And there is the out to Torreson. That'll end the bottom of the 7th inning with the run differential getting one closer. 6-4 now the lead for the Hamilton Cardinals, and we'll go back to the top of the 8th with the weather getting closer and closer.
Well, it's unfortunate, a real opportunity for Torreson to make an impact on this game. But here's the positive side. Firstly, they got a run, so they got it back to 2. And they got 6 guys up to the plate, which means 7, 8, 9 will come up. And so you've got, even if they do nothing in the 8th inning, in the 9th, you've got the top of the order coming up again, and that's a very positive situation for Brantford. Now the question is, can the Brantford bullpen shut down Hamilton and keep it at a 6-4 game? So I believe we got a new arm coming in here.
Once we get a number, we'll let you know who has come in for the Red Sox. By the looks of it, number 34 coming in, I believe that is Tyler Soucy, who will make his 2nd appearance of the week. He pitched earlier on this week, I believe, maybe featured in Welland in that home effort on Sunday a week ago from today. And as we get ready for the top of the 8th inning, he's got some high leverage innings to do here. Bateman's still the back catch for him. The gap now down to 2, and I got to admit, I'm getting a little bit of deja vu. Remember yesterday's game, late stages. That one obviously went into extra innings and was a heartbreaking loss against the very, very good Barrie Baycats. But that magic number for Brantford has seemed to be about 5 the last couple days. It's what you do with those 5 runs that determines what kind of effort it is for the Red Sox. They gave up 16 runs on Friday. Yesterday only gave up 6, and it made it a lot closer. They've given up 6 again today, and it's just, is there an extra gear? Is there a late inning push? Is a guy that hasn't hit particularly well this weekend going to take a step up? Or is this going to be another heartbreakingly close ball game that still goes in the L column for the Red Sox?
Well, I see Jonathan Salazzo has a bat in his hand right now, so it looks like they're going to bring him in. Maybe for Jaden, to pinch hit for Jaden Brown. I'm not 100% sure where we are in the order. I'm not going to lie. It looks he's up. He's going to bat first, though. That's for sure.
Brown. It is Salazzo coming in for Brown.
So, keeping in mind, this guy is, like I said earlier, if you follow this league at all, you know who this guy is. He has a decorated history, championships, MVP candidacy, third baseman, big dude, big power, big power, and frankly, one of the nicest guys in the league. He's just a guy that you just love to sit down and have a chat with. I had a great chat with him. He was doing his pregame work, and he was over there sweating and tired and whatever, but had the time to spend 5 or 10 minutes with me to have a nice chat. We got to know each other when I was coaching third base for Kitchener, and he was playing third base for Toronto, and we played them 6 times during that season, and we had a lot of really good conversations. Just a really great guy.
Soucy's first pitch to Salazzo going to go into the dirt, and Jonathan Salazzo relieves Jaden Brown. 26 strikeouts on the year for Brown, leads the team. Also tied at 26. Salazzo this season, he's hit extremely well for power, but the only big threat is his swing and miss here. Soucy, that one going to go in the dirt again for 2-0. And Tyler Soucy's only pitched 2/3 of an inning this season, but didn't allow a run in either of those 2/3.
Well, he just signed a week and a half ago, something like
Middle
that.
of a week before, yep.
So it was a surprise to me because he's been out of baseball for some time. He was helping manage this club early in the season. And then all of a sudden, he's on the mound. He's done some really good work with young pitchers with his velo program. I believe it's out of Kitchener. So we'll see if we can.
4 balls for Salazzo. He'll take his free walk down to first base there. Soucy's thrown 4 pitches. All of them missed the zone, and there you go. Tommy Reyes-Cruz has a base runner in front of him.
Well, now that puts you in a difficult position. Even though he's a decorated hitter, he's still in the 9 spot before the top of the order. So walking him on 4 pitches is difficult. But I was watching Tyler warm up, and he threw, I think, the first 4 pitches in the dirt, so he's struggling to get his mechanics down here.
We talked about how Tyler Susie puts that one. Finally finds the bottom corner for a strike, but we just talked about this late part of the offense. There's potential because you get the top of your order in those crucial later innings. This is one of those games for Brantford. Don't take your foot off the gas in terms of your personnel. Put a guy out there that's going to give you the best chances to succeed. And Susie gets that one in for a strike, working his way back. And to be fair to Tyler, hasn't allowed an earned run or a base runner yet this season.
Fair enough. It just seems, though, that it's like they've walked a hitter every single inning in this game, at least one.
I can confirm that is the case, all except for the 5th, where they had an error. 0-2. That one in on Reyes Cruz. Second time this game, I think if he just leaned in on a baseball, might have had a hit by pitch.
Well, he just yanked that 0-2 pitch a little bit, so this is the first time I've seen Tyler Susie throw. Throws hard. Tight slider.
That one chopped off towards the second baseman there. He should make an easy play there to Torreson. No play there at second base, but they'll at least record 1 out as Jaden Brown, now Jonathan Zalazo, is coming to replace him. So Zalazo now on second base.
Well, I thought about the possibility of somebody running for Salazzo, but he'll come out and play third base for them, so they won't use a pinch runner here. That isn't a run that they're desperate to get. Maybe if they were down 2 in the 8th instead of up 2, they might use a runner there. But at the end of the day, Salazzo is a third baseman replacing a third baseman, so they're probably getting a little thin at the hot corner.
Is Brandon Nickel here up for the 5th time today? That one's in bottom corner, away from the batter for strike 1. 2 for 4 today for Nickel.
Susie's very much an over-the-top pitcher. He's got good velocity. That slider is a tight one. He's got good depth on it.
0-1. Runner goes. There goes Salazzo. Almost guns him down. It was a pretty nice throw by Bateman, but he's frustrated. You can see there. I think he thought he had a better jump. But that one is Salazzo showing some discomfort there on third.
Yeah, it was a bit of a collision on the tag there.
He gets a pat there from the third base coach. He'll stay in the game. So 0-1 now the count here against Nickel.
Makes this a very critical at-bat here.
Yes, it does.
Infield will come in for this.
Tyler Susie, the 0-1. That one down to the dirt. Wild pitch. It'll get away from him. And it happened 3 times on Friday against Barrie. This is the first time today that a wild pitch will score a runner.
That just underscores the importance of holding runners on. I mean, Jonathan Salazzo is, like I said, I talk him up pretty good, and he's a great guy and all that, but he's not a guy that should be stealing third base on you. You have to change up your delivery. You have to look more than once. If you're readable at all, they'll get an incredible jump. You keep an infielder closer to second base to make sure he doesn't get off as far. So it's just really unfortunate that, you've got a situation where they just scored a run without a hit.
Right.
It was a walk and a ground ball moved him up to second, a stolen base and a pass ball. And those are the things that are happening to Brantford this year that are a big contributor to them languishing in last place. When you're now 3 games back, you're in a situation where you're at the bottom of the order. You give a guy a 4-pitch walk, get the leadoff hitter to ground out, and then let him steal third, and then a pass ball. So these are just the things that are biting the Red Sox on a fairly regular basis that are affecting their record. So, that's, I think, 10. It might be 10 walks this game.
I'll do a count here. Yeah, that was Brandon Nickel just walked there on 5 pitches. So here comes Tyler Duncan with a runner on first. The lead now 7-4.
And he has a hit, but he hasn't really had an impactful moment on this game.
That one's in for a strike. First pitch. My count on the scorer's sheet, 8 walks this game.
And that's just too many at this level.
If baseball was scored on hitting differential as a team, we'd be a top 3 ball club in the IBL. But it's about those little runs given up without consistent hitting from the other team. Runner goes. Bateman will try to gun him down. Just not in time. Another pretty good throw by Bateman, but he didn't quite get the pop that I think he was looking for. And to be fair, the shortstop was a little bit off second base.
I'm surprised they didn't check the swing. It was a check swing by Duncan on that pitch. I'm surprised they didn't have somebody check it.
So 1-1, runner now on second, 1 out in the inning. Tyler Susie facing Tyler Duncan. That one well struck there by Duncan. Out to get it is Black, and Palos comes down in between them. Ball comes down, no runs will score, but the base runner does tag up and advance to second, or to third, pardon me. Duncan on base on first with the single.
But now you're in danger of this one getting away on you again. They've come all the way back from down 6-0. They got it to 6-4, and then they just needed to get through this one inning. But they better figure out a situation here. Duncan may run to put more pressure on the defense.
Not quite the start to the inning Tyler Susie was hoping for. I will say perhaps his biggest crime, I believe he's wearing gray pants with his white jersey. I don't know what happened there. I certainly in my minor career, not that I'm any sort of recent athlete, but I'll forget at least 2 pieces of my equipment borderline every game I play. So I have sympathy for him on that one. I played for some teams with very different home and road kits, and if you ever forgot one of your a piece of clothing or a piece of my uniform, I looked pretty goofy. It happened many a time. Taking a look at the out-of-town scoreboard here. We'll throw this up while Tyler Susie gets set to come back into this ball game. The London Majors, that game that started about the same time as ours, now in the bottom of the 8th there at Christie Pitts, 10-6 lead for the Majors over the Toronto Maple Leafs. And that's all important in London's trail to catch the league-leading Welland Jackfish, who also lead 9-1 in the bottom of the 4th against, well, what a record would say is one of the best teams in the league, the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. But the Barnstormers, they were barnstorming earlier in the year. They've cooled off a little bit since then.
Well, I tell you what, they made a major addition with Evan Morrison there. I know him very well, runner.
There runner goes. You call it. Hit and run opportunity. Now the throw to first. Cassidy Watts stared down the runner at third, waited to see if Nickel would go. Didn't, so he made the throw. It's kind of a fun moment there. Just really stared him fully down there. Gave him about 2 seconds. And that confidence that Watt would still make the throw to first, that's what some of the fielders on this team don't quite have yet.
Yep, truly. Well, you've got 2 out now, and you've got big Josh Williams up. And the thing is, with Kikatos not in the lineup anymore, it strikes me that I would probably walk Williams here.
Here's Susie. Deals to Williams, well low in towards the feet. And you've said it all game. The last thing you want to do is put a ball up high that Williams could crush, and one swing of the bat from a guy as big as that on power could be the ball game here for the Red Sox.
Yeah, you can't let Williams beat you here. You've got a pinch hitter in Pena coming up in Kikatos' place. You just cannot let Williams beat you here.
That one well off the plate. Great job by Bateman to block that one. Could have been a run.
The other thing that's interesting in this situation is that you see how far that Cassidy Watt is playing off the line, which is allowing the base runner to slide down a good 20-25 feet. So if anything gets away from the catcher, he's probably going to score.
That one inside on Williams the other way for ball 3. Starting to get away from Susie. Still somebody warming up there, I believe,
again,
in the bullpen.
Make no mistake, there's no reason to pitch any kind of a decent strike to Josh Williams at this point. This is the intentional walk.
Finally got one in there on the zone, but it was just barely off the edge.
This is a very risky pitch here. You feel like you want to get the guy out, but at the end of the day, you give him too much of the plate, he can knock it into next week.
Last thing you want to do if you're Williams is ground out here. That one absolutely crushed out towards the third base line. It's a good thing for the Red Sox he hasn't put a baseball straight forward, because with the height he got on that fly out earlier and the distance he got that one out to third base, holy cow.
It's got to be a slider backdoor.
3-2. Inside. He'll walk him, but to at least get that one close there, Brian, like you said, very well could have been an intentional walk otherwise. At least he made it a close count.
Like I said, you can't let him beat you. You got Pena coming up, a pinch hitter fresh off the bench.
So that's walk 9 on the day for the Brantford pitching staff.
And they'll pinch run for Williams here. I assume just because they're not anticipating him getting another AB this game.
So pinch runner on first. Bases loaded here. Pena's come up hitting .313 on the year with 14 RBIs, 9 walks to 13 strikeouts. 25 hits. 5 of them for extra bases. That one once again in on the close side, and Soucy's lucky he hasn't hit 3 or 4 batters on that close side by now.
So Nickel on third base is taking huge leads with even bigger secondary. So with a left-handed hitter up, it opens up the opportunity to back pick if they want to try it. It's risky with 2 out, but
I wouldn't mind it here. That one finally finds the zone. It's almost looking like at this point the Cardinals just don't want to swing till they have to, and I don't blame them.
very disciplined hitting, good approach at the plate. You grind out every single at bat.
That one wide as well. That's going to be 2-1, and I think at this point an at-bat doesn't really start for a Cardinals hitter until you got 2 in the strike call.
Well, he's already walked 2, so he's, having trouble.
Well, 3 in the inning.
3 in the inning, my bad. Nice pitch there.
That was beautiful.
Dropped the slider in.
Yeah, 3 walks in the inning. Only 1 has scored to this point. One of them is Nickel, who stole earlier. Nickel's still on third. He's the lead runner.
Got to go at him here. You don't want to go 3-2 and let the runners take off with the pitch.
Huge pitch by Soucy here. That one popped out and wide towards the third base line. Foul ball.
Yep, exactly what you want to do. Fastball, get it hard, get it in the zone. Get him in swing mode.
You just hope for a whiff here if you're Tyler Soucy. Still got 1 more ball to give. And there it is. That one will go wide and high. 3-2, full count, 2 outs. It's right back where we were for Williams.
Right, so the runners will be going here because the bases are loaded, and so the infield's got to throw across the diamond, and that's why he didn't want to go to 3-2. So he just needs to make a good pitch here. He's got to execute this absolutely positively. Must be a strike.
Runners go just barely inside. Walks home a run, and Brian, that one was close on the close part of the plate, but a little bit too close.
Well, they went risky on a 2-2 count to a pinch hitter. They decided to go curveball, and he missed it on the arm side, which meant he had to come back with the fastball. So, like I said, I would have to say I'm not a fan of the curveball on the 2-2 pitch there that put you in that situation to begin with. So Tyler is a good pitcher. He's not going to be happy with his performance today, but he's still going to be a quality add to the bullpen moving forward. Can't be your day every day.
We'll get you an idea on the new reliever who's coming here now for the Brantford Red Sox to relieve Tyler Soucy. 8-4 now the lead for the Hamilton Cardinals. Number 11, that's Crawford Passy back in the ballgame. And he had a big play. First of all, he had 3 innings. He was really eating innings well there on Friday against Barrie, which typically he had only done 1 inning starts to that point in the season, and as a Red Sox. He'd never gone longer than 1 inning. He did so in that game on Friday, and I don't know if you saw it there, Brian, but the highlight of maybe the whole broadcast, he had a comebacker that I think must have been up above 90, right back in the face, made a nice grab to get out of an inning. And that's one of the moments of the year. 50 pitches as a middle reliever on Friday. Surprised he's back here on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a big bounce back after 50 pitches. You certainly need at least the 1 day off. Now, anything above 60, probably you wouldn't bring him back for a couple of days. But, middle of the season, everybody's working hard because there's so many games. You're starting to make up rainout dates, plus the consistent schedule. My own team, as I mentioned to you, we just went through the same thing because of all the rainouts in the spring. We just finished a stretch where we played 14 games in 15 days.
Unreal.
And, everybody's arm is sore, so my team's happy to have 3 or 4 days off now, just like these guys will be happy to have 2 or 3 days off after today's game.
Serious wind starting to pick up here at Arnold Anderson. It feels like we're only a few minutes off some serious weather, but I do see a little bit of hope out there towards left field. The clouds don't carry all the way back, all the way around the diamond, so we'll see if we see weather play a factor in the late stages of this one, but 8-4 now the lead for the Cardinals. 2 outs in what has become a very difficult, very base runner filled top of the 8th inning. So Tanner Rempel's back. 3 base runners, bases loaded. Crawford Passy now on the mound. That one will off the plate. Wild pitch. Close enough that he should be able to hold the runners. Yes, he does. All the way back into base, and Tyler Duncan had to do a full slide to get back to third.
That was a heck of a play by Bateman to keep that in front of him. By all counts, that should have been to the backstop. What a great block.
You've got a good eye for catchers. Where would Bateman's performance today, if this was a Cassidy Watt game, would it be towards the top end or low end of what you'd expect from him?
Well, they made him work hard, especially on a hot day like this. I will say, like, it generally, and to his arm side, from a knee, his ability to get out and block a pitch. You know, you watch games all the time on Major League Baseball, and these guys that are on the knee, now the pitch is coming in obviously harder than in that league than it is in this one. But when like those guys, all they can do is try and short hop that pitch, whereas these guys have to move the body because they just don't have the ability to short hop with the soft batter's boxes. So it has to be the body that blocks it. They throw it out there, they sacrifice the body, they quite often take one in the hip or the thigh or some area that isn't protected by a guard. And so, you know, and for the amount of money they're getting compensated to sacrifice the body, you just got to have all the respect in the world for these guys.
Passy's counting out 2-1, now 3-1, and there's a spot on the outside he hit on that first strike he's been looking for and has just missed it low, back-to-back pitches.
Yeah, he's yanked a couple here, and so he's going to have to figure that out to get that release point because now he's on a 3-1 count. And frankly, I don't know if Rempel's going to be in any mood to swing at this pitch. He may let one go here and let it go to 3-2.
Yep. See what he does here with 2 outs, 3-1. That one set right over his head. It's going to 1-hop, 2-hop to Paolo. Space runner comes around third. Could make it 10-4. Yes, it will. Out of the glove of Torres in double digits now on offense today for the Cardinals. 10-4, now the lead for Hamilton.
And 4 walks, and 3 of them have scored in this inning alone. So, you know, that's just...
As if on cue, there comes the rain, Brian. I'm just feeling a couple drops in the corner of the media booth now. Here comes Hernandez for the 5th time today.
Well, the combination of the wind and a couple of drops and a 2-run single making a 6-run game have sent a lot of the Brantford faithful running for the exits here.
It is as if perfectly on cue. The wind has really picked up here at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Again, a couple drops you can feel scarcely here. Many starting to head out and makes that extra minute the manager got earlier walking out to home plate even more valuable. That one shot back foul. 0-1 here from Passy.
So unfortunately, it's another situation where they can't bridge to the later innings. You know, I'm not sure who they had available out of the pen with all the games they've had recently. But like I said, at the end of the day, when you get to this level, you cannot walk 10 batters, and I am almost 100% sure they have walked 10 batters in this
wide
game.
off the plate, 1-1, and I just heard thunder out towards right field. We'll see if the weather holds off long enough to do 9 innings.
Well, I
hear it again.
Yeah.
Got to think the league's going to shut that one down pretty quick if the Thunder gets any closer. That one a big swing and a miss there by Hernandez. Nice job by Passy to get ahead, 1-2. Your buddy Salazo is going to be back up here should his services be needed in the last spot in the lineup.
Yeah, it's a bat-around inning for Hamilton with Hernandez up here. He certainly is a demonstrative type player, is he not?
1-2 here. Could be Passy's first strikeout of the day. Won't be. A little bit too far off the plate. 2-2. 2 outs in the inning. Hernandez less chatty in this at-bat. Hasn't said anything to the umpire.
You could certainly see that breaking pitch coming when he goes over the top and just kind of bends that wrist in.
Well down low in the dirts. Full count now, 3-2-2. Third time the scoreboard's read that way this inning. Another crack of thunder, loudest we've seen.
Moving though over to our right now. The wind is pushing most of this over.
Runners go. Chopped foul. Bateman goes over to get it. I'll take a quick moment in the late stages of this one to remind you, July 20th coming up in Hamilton. They're the road team today. They'll be the home team a week from now. July 20th on that Sunday is going to be the IBL All-Star Game. See Chris Ortega, Aiden Armitage, of course, Ren Takioka leading the league in batting average, and our very own Emmett Cooper, our ball boy, is going to be there at the All-Star Game a week from today. Go check it out. Go find tickets for that and come out to the IBL All-Star Game. Always a great chance to see the league's best talent. That one sent off towards right field. Can Black get under it? Yes, he can. Fly out there to end the inning for Hernandez, but as the wind continues to pick up, got to wonder how much of an opportunity the Brantford Red Sox will get here on offense. They get 2 more opportunities on paper, but my notes are starting to fly out of my hand here with the wind.
Well, it looks like it's mostly blown over, which I think we can appreciate the break from the heat as much as worry about the rain, to be honest with you. So off to the bottom of the 8th, and that's unfortunate. Like I say, I think they walked 4 batters that inning, and at least 3 of them came around to score.
Yep.
You know, when you score 4 runs on, 2 hits, that makes it difficult for a team to have success. And we talked about it. It's tough to win games when you're giving up 8 runs a game, and there they are again, 10. They gave up the runs early. Armitage didn't have an ideal start, but he gutted through it and kept them to 6, got it back to 6-4. Just, when you wanted to get through that 8th inning and take advantage of the momentum that's going on. Unfortunately, Tyler Susie couldn't find the strike zone and turned into an ugly inning, a bat-around inning for Hamilton. So,
well, we got plenty of Hamilton Road fans here in attendance at Arnold Anderson Stadium. I see a couple in the YouTube chat as well. So why don't I give you your schedule ahead for the rest of the week for the IBL's Hamilton Cardinals, leading up to the All-Star Game. Today's game against Brantford is then the start of a 4-day off period until Thursday for the Hamilton Cardinals, where they'll be back on the road at Bernie Arbor Memorial Stadium, where they'll be taking on, that's at home, that is in Hamilton. The London Majors go to visit on Thursday, but then the Hamilton Cardinals are on the road to London at Labatt on Friday. Then Saturday, the day before the All-Star Game, the Hamilton Cardinals head to Christie Pitts, where they will take on the Toronto Maple Leafs in that final game before the July 20th All-Star Game. We're going to flip the script back around the other way because the Brantford Red Sox are coming off the end of their 3 games in 3 nights, and hopefully that should mean they finally get a break. Then it'll be a week off until Friday night. The Barrie Baycats come back to town for Friday night action, just as they were last Friday. So that'll be their game there, and then on the road will be the Guelph Royals. Only 1 game of baseball that weekend, but that's the last time for the Brantford Red Sox at home the rest of the way. Going to be 2 games every weekend, Friday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday in the case of the 25th and 26th, all the rest of the way. So if you like home Red Sox baseball, you're going to get plenty late in the year, but the Baycats on Friday, the last home effort for a little while. A little bit more thunder. The wind has really picked up. But up to bat now is Lucas Bateman for the 4th time today. Has yet to not get onto first base, and he's got 2 steals on the effort. That one chopped off towards the shortstop. Almost misplays it off a weird bounce, but he will get it there. Bateman can't quite make it to first. And I should mention, the man we were talking about before there, Brian, Stephen Hospital has now entered this ball game. And to this point in the year, he's allowed 1 earned run in 13 2/3 innings. He is going to be a problem.
And is it 19 strikeouts in 13 innings? Boy, he's nasty. That live arm, that's what we call a live arm, when you've got a full foot of tail. Ooh.
That one in there a little bit wide. Umpire doesn't give it to him. That'll be ball 1. And no matter how many times I read Stephen Hospital's stat sheet here, stat line on my side here, I still think I'm reading it wrong. That one goes wide and high the other way. Remember, 18 strikeouts, no walks on the season, which is why I keep thinking I'm reading it wrong. That logically to me in baseball shouldn't be possible.
That is amazing. 0 walks in 13 innings.
That one high again there, though. This could be the first
walk
of the year for Stephen Hospital.
Eh?
To be fair, he's pitching in, borderline thunderstorm conditions in terms of the wind. He's not getting much to work with there in terms of placement. But Josiah DeVaplin could be the first to walk off Hospital. Not yet. That's now 3-1.
I was just going to say, he hasn't thrown the 4th ball yet, though.
It's true. We don't have a stat for how many 3-0 counts he's worked his way out of for a strikeout, but I bet it's a couple.
Especially when you got a 6-run lead, you just
That one low and in. First walk of the season for Stephen Hospital to Josiah DeVaplin. And DeVaplin, he had 3 strikeouts to this point. He's now on base for the first time today. I know the weather's coming in. I know that inning kind of got the Brantford home crowd down and many left for the weather, but this game's not quite over yet, especially if the conditions get a little bit silly. That'll make it interesting to see if the pitchers can maintain their placement. But 10-4 is not an impenetrable lead with 2 innings of opportunity.
No lead is safe in the IBL. That's what we know.
Lucas Lefebvre pops that one up and out. Quick moment. Jama Hernandez thinks about going to get it. Thinks better of it. 0-1. Now on deck, Ren Takioka.
Well, especially if you can, if Lefebvre can get on here, you've got 2 on for the top of the order. They could do some damage.
Couple more drops of rain. DeVaplin on first. 0-1 to Lefebvre. Right down Main Street. 0-2 here to Lucas Lefebvre. Provided he doesn't ground into a double play, we should see Takioka no matter what. Field.
Well, to your point earlier in the game, you talking about the bottom of the order, making some noise, getting on base, what have you. And so they're doing a really good job there. The 2 of the 3 guys in the bottom of the order got up and got on. And so now you've got 2 on for the top of the order. Couple of hits, they can maybe get back in this game, at least give themselves a chance. And it looks like the big fella is up and warming up in the Hamilton bullpen. Fernando Rodney, I mean.
Now, I will say, I don't mean to speak ill of Fernando Rodney. One of the eventually have that game go the way of the Brantford Red Sox. And, you know, he's a guy that if you're the Brantford Red Sox, you might think he got his number, especially that top part of the order. Thanks to our awesome director, Brandon. We got our cameras back. And to keep you updated, runners now on first and second. This is Takioka down 0-1.
Well, the key to facing Rodney is you have to have the ability to lay off the changeup, which is a lot easier said than done.
That one's high and wide. Ball 1. 1-1-1 here. And rare for Stephen Hospital to look this mortal. Has put runners on first and second, 1 by a walk, 1 by a single. Only the 10th hit he's allowed this season through 13 innings. That one's high and wide the other way. He got his first walk of the season a moment ago. He's on pace for his second.
Well, he's been up a lot. Of the 12 or so pitches he's thrown, 7 or 8 of them have been up in the zone. I thought I don't have empirical evidence there, but it just seems that way.
Here's the 2-1 to Takioka. That one well struck right to that same spot. Comes down right where Lefebvre hit it. Base is loaded. He won't try to run home for DeVaplin. Base is now loaded for Ethan Palos.
Yeah, no sense taking any chances.
Next for the Red Sox, center fielder, number 13, Ethan Palos.
The rain starting again, though. Couple more drops than last time, but sun above us. The Brantford Red Sox need a break here. They need that rain to go away because Palos is up. Watts on deck and Ortega after him. There are some serious power threats, and I'm sure not a coincidence now that we see a mound visit for the Cardinals.
Well, and this, you know, to your point earlier, they're making him look very mortal. He's got gaudy stats, Hospital so far this year, but he has been up on a lot of pitches, and that was another pitch up that Takioka just hit. And so you start making mistakes up against guys like Watt and Ortega, and they're going to punish you. So this is a very interesting at-bat. If Paulus can get on base, then you've got the real meat of this Brantford order coming up that can make a bunch of noise. You know, if Paulus gets on here, it becomes 10-5, and then an extra base hit, suddenly Brantford's right back in it.
That one in the dirt now. Hospital, first time he's really missed low. This time it's to Palos with the bases loaded.
Yeah, almost an overcompensation there to make sure he gets on top of the ball, throwing downhill. Generally speaking, if you're up a lot in the zone, as your delivery is a little quick and your arm is falling behind your body.
And that one's high and wide. Umpire's going to give another one here to Palos. Count now 2-0. And it's the righty in hospital against the lefty of Palos. Remember, Watt on deck, only one out in the inning. Huge opportunity here for the Red Sox. That one does just find the outside corner, 2-1.
Smart take there. You don't want to be swinging at anything other than your exact pitch. And even then, when you're down 6, they still need base runners more than they need, a shot to the power alley. So if he can draw a walk, he's doing his team a big service.
That one chopped up. It is fair. Down to the pitcher who will throw to the catcher, but he does not record the second out to end the inning. So the bases will remain loaded. They swapped Evapolen for Palos on the fielder's choice.
I'm little. Nice play defensively by Hospital. I'm really surprised he went home.
So am I.
Up by 6 with 1 out, throw it to first and get the sure out.
Evapolen didn't have a great lead on the run, to be
fair. And he doesn't run that well, but at the end of the day, like I say, as I mentioned earlier, having a smart ball player has a defensive awareness of the runners on base.
First one in the zone on the off speed for Cassidy Watt, 0-1. More drops here at Arnold Anderson.
Well, you got to figure they need, at the very least, a 2-run single to get it within a reasonable number for a chance to come back in the 9th.
That one sent off well towards the first base line. It goes foul. Quick word there with the home plate umpire. And Chris Ortega is on deck. And if I'm Cassidy Watt, I really want to keep this inning alive and leave Ortega some base runners to work with. A ray of sunshine hits the field. Maybe it's a sign for Watt. That one shot past the pitcher. Can he make the play out? And he can't. The sun was some sort of a mirage as 2 base runners in to score. Watt will put him on the corners. 10-6 now the differential between the Cardinals and the Red Sox. And here's the All-Star starter this year, Chris Ortega.
And a fortunate bounce there for Brantford. It took a big of a high hop right on the last hop there, and it looked like it was going to be an easy pickup, a tough throw on the run, but it looked like a fairly routine pickup, but it bounced a bit. It might have hit the lip of the grass right at the back of the infield there, right in front of second base. So, boy, this is all of a sudden a big at-bat, isn't it? You didn't really think you'd see this kind of an at-bat in the 8th.
Ortega will chop that one. Same spot this time. The shortstop does make the play. Ortega grounds out to end the inning. They cut the lead back to 4. And again, that's another opportunity there, Brian, where they do a good job to convert. They get something out of it, but just a little bit of elevation from the offense, and you would have had a massive inning.
Yeah, one more hit there, and you were just, that's all you were hoping for. Like I said, at least you get it to a 3-run lead, especially with the big man coming in most likely for the 9th inning. They've had him warming up for some time now. So you'd be shocked to hear that he wasn't going to come in, especially with the amount of pitches that Hospital was forced to throw in there. He seems to be by and large a 1-inning guy, so I don't really imagine they'll bring him back out for the 9th. I think you could probably count on Fernando Rodney, which is kind of cool. I was hoping to see him throw while they were in town here.
As the arena announcer, thanks the firemen. Today, Fireman Appreciation Day here at the Brantford Red Sox game at Arnold Anderson. You see on your scoreboard there, 10-6 the run differential. That's the lead for the Hamilton Cardinals heading into the 9th. And the hits are tied, the errors are tied. We've seen that a lot this year. The Brantford Red Sox hit well, and the runs just don't quite follow.
So another new arm in the 9th inning for Brantford. And the 9th inning will start the way the 8th inning did for Hamilton with Jonathan Salazzo.
So by my count, we're going to start with Salazzo. He'll lead off the top of the 9th inning. And once he's gone, every spot in the lineup will have hit 5 times for the Cardinals.
Now pitching for your Red Sox, number 37, George De La Cruz Payas.
So here is Jorge De La Cruz, I believe, is going to get the call here.
Yes, it is. Yep.
You've seen him a couple times this season, Brian. You saw his very first start. He'll rack up strikeouts in these late innings.
Yeah, he's a good arm. He might be the best arm they have coming out of the bullpen. And it's a tough job for him. You got to get Salazzo and then the top of this Hamilton order. So, but again, attack the zone, attack the zone, attack the zone. It's worth saying 3 times. Put the ball in the zone, get them in swing mode.
That one wide off the plate for ball 1. Let's give you some numbers here for De La Cruz.
De La Cruz throws hard. He's got a good live arm. He has good action on his fastball. Even his four-seamer moves.
4.26 ERA. 13 strikeouts, 5 walks, and 6 in a third innings.
Salazzo's going to wonder what's going on here because he's seen 6 pitches and none of them have been close to the zone.
That one was in the zone, but is chopped foul. 2-1 going to be the count. You got to think the way they're pitching him, it's like they read the scouting report on him, even though he was on the bench today. Just don't give him anything to work with is the plan here, it would seem, for the Red Sox bullpen. That one swung on, but actually finds its way all the way through the legs of Bateman.
Oh, he certainly did swing at it.
Oh, are they saying? Oh, they must be saying he did. Scoreboard operator put the second strikeout before the ball even hit the back fence. So yeah, no doubt. You got to think that he went around on that. And they agree. So 2-2. And a swing and a miss. First of the day for Jorge De La Cruz. And he's done so against one of the best on this Hamilton Cardinals offense. That's 1 out. Now, don't forget, I believe you were here, Brian, the last time you saw Jorge De La Cruz, but he had that conversation with Willand. I don't think you were here. I think it was last Sunday when I was with Brandon, but he had a bit of an on-field moment there. He was really starting to get excited after strikeouts to the chagrin of the Jackfish, and there was an on-field kind of incident there. A couple guys came out to jaw at him. The home plate umpire, Trevor Stoico, had to get involved there. It became a whole thing, so we'll see what De La Cruz does today in terms of temperament, but he's now 1-0 against Reyes Cruz. The battle of Cruz versus Cruz, now 2-0 in favor of the batter.
Well, I tell you what, he's a good-looking pitcher, man, and I know that he's an intense guy. He expects to be dominant, and he's got a personality.
That one struck out towards Paulos, but doesn't have much behind it. Takioka will actually field that one, does so without his cap, but there you go, second out in the inning. Holding the lead there so far. So Brandon Nichols back up, back on the offense. Next time we see the Red Sox, it'll be Black, Torres, and Bateman in the 9th.
Well, if they can get it around to the top of the order, they got an opportunity. But again, like I said, probably Rodney coming in for the 9th.
That one in for strike 1, and Brandon Nichols' day so far. Strikeout followed by 2 singles, then 2 walks and a steal. So he's turned it around today. Tyler Duncan on deck. Swing and a miss there from Nickel, and De La Cruz just gets guys to whiff like
he's
few
overpowering,
in the IBL.
man. I tell you what, it's almost makes you wish that he'd come in the 8th inning.
Alrighty, 0-2. That one chopped right back towards him. Let's see if he can make the play with the glove. Yes, he did get it to the glove. Had to hop to Torreson, but he got back to the base in time. It wasn't a perfect throw there by Jorge De La Cruz, but he did exactly what he had to keep this game attainable in the 9th.
It's a good job. He got a tall first baseman there. That wasn't the best throw. I've always laughed at that for decades. I have laughed at that. You got pitchers who can throw it into a pie plate from 60 feet to the plate, but they can't throw it close enough to first base to let their first baseman catch the ball. I've seen it at every level. Right-handers, left-handers, they get a little quick and they rip it down to first base and it goes all over the place. So I believe the big man's on his way in now.
Here he comes. Ex-MLB closer Fernando Rodney will make his first appearance at Arnold Anderson in 2025. The Brantford faithful will get the chance to look at one of the great stories of this IBL season, a guy that's been happy to call Hamilton home to this point here in the season, And the Brantford Red Sox clubhouse is getting noisy right now. They're trying to fire each other up to take this guy down just like they did a week ago.
Well, you know what? You have to treat it as an opportunity. One of my favorite sayings is, if you treat it like an opportunity, it becomes one.
Exactly.
And you've got a major league pitcher coming in. You know he's going to throw it 90 plus. You know he's going to have that absolutely filthy changeup. And you can just see in the speed, in the velo, when he throws it in there, that he throws it just a little bit harder than everybody else.
Well, Rodney, to the defense of the Red Sox, to give them some hope. 6.3 ERA on the season, 10 games, all single-inning closing opportunities. He's got a 1-1 record on the year, 5 saves on that count. But to be fair to him, 14 strikeouts to 7 walks is pretty good, although 7 earned runs in 10 innings. Not quite the MLB numbers he was putting up when he was young, but at the age of 48, to be as effective as he has been speaks to his longevity.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, he's pushing 50. And it's just a really cool opportunity for the guys that are coming up to the plate.
I mean, they saw it as more than a cool opportunity a Thursday ago. We should be fair. The Red Sox started to light him up, and the game only ended because the Red Sox, took the lead. I think took their foot off the gas a little bit. I got some faith here. I think the Red Sox should be feeling energized, just like how they sounded in the clubhouse a moment ago. Here's Brody Black up for the 5th time today. Strikeout, single, flyout, then hit by pitch his day so far. Torreson now on deck.
Well, and I will say this. If they can get back to the top of the order, that's 6th AB of the inning.
First pitch in for a strike.
And Takioka could be up in a high leverage situation, but some guys ahead of him have to work counts and get on base.
Second pitch is low. That's ball 1. And Devapoin and Lefebvre are the guys I'm looking at. They've come off a walk and a single in the 8th inning. If they come back up in the 9th, I want to see them be clutch. I want to see them have an impact, and then I want to see our top guys finish it off. That one well struck there out towards right field, but not quite tracking as far as we need. It'll come down there into the glove of Dominguez for the first out of the inning.
Well, that ball really carried, didn't it? Dominguez came in straight across and then did a full 90-degree turn and went back out. And again, an odd path to the ball that he's shown. Make no mistake, folks, he's an elite-level defensive fielder, but he just takes the odd occasional path to the ball, which really makes you look at him and go,
Rodney gets that one right in on the hands of Torres, and it'll catch the bat to go foul. It makes me think the way that his initial step works on balls, there's an opportunity that you could peek a ball just in the far end of the warning track, and he might not quite get to it if he didn't get the proper jump. Rodney puts that one off the other way. It'll start the same as the last at-bat, 1-1.
Well, he sure doesn't seem to look like he's lost much on his velo. He was a 91, 92 mile an hour guy when he played.
That one struck by Torreson. Speaking of Dominguez, right back out to him. That one a little bit easier there for him. Out number 2. It's Lucas Bateman, who's been 2 for 4 today. Has the pair of steals. We'd love more steals if he can get on base, but he's got to do so first. Could be the last batter of the day for the Red Sox.
Well, and that's unfortunate for Torreson because he really ripped that ball, got a good line drive out to right field, but right at the outfielder.
Up and high towards the face. Bateman will let that one go by for ball 1. On deck, should his services be needed, Josiah Devapoin, I believe, is going to be pinch hit for. We'll see who they bring in. That one chopped off towards the third base line. Does go foul. That might be Savage there. I can't quite see a jersey on the guy in the batter's circle. Number 12, that's Veyu. Jeremy Veyu, the man on deck. An option I'd like to see. Pretty good choice there if he's able to come in at the 8th spot, batter in front of him, or base runner in front of him. I think he'd do pretty well, but Bateman's got to get there first. The 1-1 from Rodney. Inside, right towards the batter. That's 2-1, and what about a noise here from the crowd? Often many will consider it bad form.
By and large, only Hamilton fans left in the stands at this point.
Shooting themselves in the foot there a little bit. Rodney, the 2-1. That one struck pretty well there by Bateman. Out towards the maple tree, but it'll come down. That's the game as the Red Sox come up just short with some offensive momentum late. The hits are tied, the errors are tied, but the ball game is not. 10-6 is the win there for the Hamilton Cardinals as they make the trip here on a Sunday afternoon of IBL action. Mother Nature thought about postponing this one early a couple times there, but in the end, this one is going to go the way of the Cardinals, and at least the fans here in attendance will get a full game of IBL baseball. That'll demote the Brantford Red Sox to 6-21 on the season. It'll promote the Hamilton Cardinals up to 14-12 as they intend to catch the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers that started off their game slow as to this point. I believe they're currently losing to Welland, so could be a big day for the Cardinals as they come out of this one. Rodney will close well. He had some good velocity there late. And I think everything we've been talking about to this point in the season, Brian, all of our red flags, everything we flagged pregame about the Red Sox, keeping the ball on the plate, not allowing wild pitches, keeping the walks down, and continuing your hits. All of our concerns came back to bite us today, and I think that's the reason this ball game is going the same way the last couple have.
Well, and I'll even pigeonhole it more. 10 walks to 3. Hamilton pitchers walked 3 guys. Brantford pitchers walked 10. You said same amount of hits in a game, and yet it's 10-6. I don't think there was an extra base hit.
No, I don't believe so.
In this game. Like, not sure there
yeah.
was at all in this game an extra base hit. So to give up 10 runs in 8 innings without an extra base hit, 10 walks. And so at the end of the day, that's unfortunate. They got themselves into a situation, they got it back to 6-4, and they went out to the 8th inning. But, I was talking about that earlier in the game where they're having trouble with the bridge. And so, like I said, it strikes me that maybe when you look back at this game, you'd say to yourself, maybe I bring in De La Cruz in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
And have him get through the inning. And if he gets through it in less than 20 pitches, I've got the potential to throw him back out there, especially with the fact that we don't play tomorrow. We don't play for 3 days, right? So, hindsight's 20/20. It's easy to second guess managers. That's kind of what we do up in the booth. If we were that good, we'd probably be doing the job ourselves. But at the end of the day, like I said, it still continues to be pitching that is the undoing of the Brantford Red Sox. 8 runs a game they're giving up. They gave up another 10 today. But again, I thought outside of the walks, I thought they pitched a pretty good ball game. There was an opportunity